And so this is the mission of refusefascism.org. It is to unite people from all our diverse political perspectives and viewpoints to stand together in the streets non-violently, but again and again in growing numbers and determination, refusing to stop until we create such a profound political crisis that Donald Trump cannot govern this country. Cannot impose his fascist terror and cannot even hold on to power. Now, I personally come to this fight as a proud follower of the revolutionary leader Bob Avakian. He is the architect of a whole new framework of human emancipation called the New Communism. And I say this openly because some people go around and they say that should scare you. And they say that me and others from this perspective have a hidden agenda. But I want to put it straight up. There's nothing hidden. I have become convinced that to get to a world where all of humanity can live in peace, where everybody has their needs met for food, clothing, shelter, but also a rich intellectual and cultural life and community. To get to that world, I've become convinced we need a revolution. Guided by the new communism that Bob Avakian has forged. And let me say this, you don't have to agree with that to be in this movement. You don't even have to dig into that, although I would suggest that you do. But if you're going to form an opinion, I call on everybody to have the integrity to find out about Bob Avakian and myself in this revolution by engaging his works directly, not by listening to snark and rumor and anti-communist red-baiting divide and conquer. Have the integrity.
I am a communist, and this is what I want to fight for.
As a communist who does, pro-Palestine organizing.
I mean, our goal is liberation. Our goal is communism.
I think we can transform DSA into a revolutionary and practical organization.
We are revolutionary socialists who believe in the working class and believe that it's in desperate need of a revolution and thus needs a workers' party with an internationalist and anti-imperialist purview. And we believe that DSA is the best method to achieve this.
At the end of the day, we're in DSA because we believe that DSA, whatever it is, can be the vehicle for socialism here.
I think DSA has retreated on abolition somewhat. Like 5 years ago, we had Zeron tweeting, "Queer liberation means defund the police."
The type of Trotskyism I adhere to, and I think the type of Trotskyism Trotsky actually argued, it says we recognize these problems and we defend them anyway.
We must be willing to meet the challenge of building a member-driven mass organization that can harness the revolutionary potential of the working class.
I first joined DSA at the end of 2021. So when I came to the US for grad school, I got involved in Students for Justice in Palestine. And then after I graduated, I organized in the New Haven community.
And that internationalism is key to change for us as socialism here in the United States because it helps us see what's possible.
That DSA has remained one of the only coherent poles of resistance to both fascism and capital in the United States. We're only going to build ourselves into a fighting party by ensuring that our electoral work and our independent working class organizing are working in concert and are strengthening each other.
We are fighting to dismantle these policing structures, but ultimately we have to be ready to take control of our neighborhoods, to fight for our neighbors.
If you're a cop or Zionist, stay the fuck out of DSA because those are the two criteria that we actually don't allow.
So when we say we want a vanguard party of professional revolutionary cadre, we're talking about organizers who are on the front lines of labor struggles, tenant struggles, and so on.
It is so important that as DSA we are developing organizers who can look at the conditions, figure out what exactly is the pressure point, what is that weak point that we can push on to help start breaking capitalism down. And it's working.
Not really. Not really at all. You see, while you guys are trying to organize and figure out what you're going to do next, the rest of us are basking in the cool individualism of air conditioning. This is how it starts. This is exactly what they're going through in Europe. And how long did it take him? Just a couple of months to sound like he's in Europe? If you haven't paid along lately as to what's been happening, Mayor Mandami, our local commie, said, hey, New York, it's hot out there, and the power grid is working overtime to keep us cool. Set your AC to 78 degrees. Turn off the lights. Turn off your electronics you're not using and unplug what you can. Our city is doing its part, maintaining the 78 degrees rule in our buildings. I'm going back to that. Dimming, turning off our lights during peak electricity demand, asking private partners to do the same, and powering down non-essential equipment. A stable grid means the AC stays on and lives are saved. Let's ease demand and get through the heat together. That was yesterday he posted that. Then he followed it up with today, at least I guess it wasn't strong enough. So he said this today. He goes, New York ISO, whatever that is, just issued an early warning that we must alleviate the strain on our energy grid statewide. Statewide. So understand that little tidbit he just tossed in there, which was different from the first one, is now telling the rest of the state, you folks up in Albany and Schenectady, yeah, we're going to turn off your stuff too. Please do your part in keeping our power on by setting your AC to 78 degrees. Turn off lights and unplug electronics you're not using. Waiting until early morning or late at night to run appliances like dishwashers or laundry appliances. During a historic heat wave, AC will save lives, but only if we keep the grid stable enough for it to stay on. I don't know about you, but I'm getting ready to hop on a plane after this show. I got to head to New York because I have a ticket for the big wedding tomorrow. The big wedding between, Tay-Tay, Taylor Swift, and, Travis Kelce. No, I don't have a ticket, nor if I did would I go. But in any event, she is holding her soiree in Madison Square Garden. And they're spending gazillions on making sure it looks all pretty. Not sure if you guys know, but Madison Square Garden is dead set in the middle of Manhattan. And I'm pretty sure if they're having their wedding in downtown Manhattan tomorrow, it won't be 78 degrees in there. He's full of crap. This is the most animal farming things I've ever seen. You're telling all these businesses to turn down their AC. So let me know when CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox News, and all the other broadcast networks turn up their AC to 78. Let me know when that really happens because they will go off the air. Even here in my little world of podcasting, this equipment cannot survive in 78-degree weather. It starts getting humid and moist and things start going away. So until I see ABC, NBC, CBS, all of them go off the air, I have to call you, and Tay-Tay canceling her wedding, I got to call BS on you. I got to call complete BS on you. You see, this is the first step that we can openly see the communist stuff happening. The warm embrace of collectivism. We're all going to sweat to the oldies together. Not down here. Funny, we go through heat just about every day of the year. It's not a sudden little bit of heat. It's like hot all the time. 78. Let me just tell you, if I put the air conditioning on 78, I would not stay married. If you ever have a woman in the house and she's not feeling right, 78 ain't gonna work for you. Not even this much. Besides the little doggies. I don't even want my pool being, cold. I turned that up and heat it. Actually, we had it heated until like last week. Had to crank that up, honey. I'm not getting in no 78-degree water. Turn that up. Heat that pool, that whole big pool. I need it to, it needs to feel like 88 for me. And inside, we're going to turn that all the way down. We want that about 69. I won't even tell you what my electric bill is. My electric bill is probably what some people pay for rent or mortgage. I only mention it for one reason. It's a personal choice. If we could not afford to have that thermostat here or the thermostat home at 69 or 70, then we wouldn't have it or 69 or 70. If I couldn't afford to have the pool at 85 or 88, I'd be swimming in some ice cold water. And you get the old shrinkage thing that goes along with it. But you can afford it, so turn it up. I want the comfort. I want to know that I'm working hard enough so that I can provide her comfort and me comfort. And our guest. Hey, if you come on down to Florida, hey, it's like hot in here. Nope. Actually, when people come to our house, they ask for extra blankets. Our movie theater, Scouts Honor. You can look it up yourself. Look at iPick in Boca. iPick is the name of the theater. They give you a complimentary blanket. Why? Because it's cold as hell in there. And people like curl up and they have blankets and they give you your pillow because it's like being at home. And you're telling me in arguably one of the hottest states in the country, we don't have any problem. Yeah, we have the occasional thunderstorm that rumbles through, but now today it's bright and sunny. And so what in the hell are you talking about that people need to turn down their AC? See, those are fighting words, especially for people in the South. Those are damn, what do you mean I can't have my, number one, who the hell are you to tell me what I need to do? As long as I can pay for it, I'm going to keep it how I want it. As you heard those young commies as they were talking, one of the things you kept hearing from them is that, we'll fulfill our needs if we're all communist. I don't want my needs fulfilled. Prisoners get their needs fulfilled. Prisoners get 3 hots in a cot. They get the bologna sandwich and some beans. They get their needs fulfilled. That's the part that communists don't understand. As Americans, we aspire. As Americans, we desire. As Americans, we work to help fulfill those desires. I don't need you to pat me on the head and give me a bologna sandwich. If I want to go have some pad thai and a sushi, I damn well will go have some pad thai and a sushi, and I won't feel bad about it. Neither should you. Whatever you desire within the realm of your finances, you should be able to do. And you shouldn't feel bad because today you feel like, I don't know, honey, let's go to the beach and let's buy a hot dog at the beach. Man, there's some really poor kids in Biafra who can't eat these hot dogs. Said nobody ever. I'll take some pictures from this weekend. It's going to be crazy down here. Absolutely nuts. The illusion they're selling you on the news, the illusion they're selling you on X gets destroyed when you experience reality. This weekend, God forbid there's no, bad stuff that happens, is going to be phenomenal for most people because we are going to enjoy ourselves, have fun, smile, barbecue, go to the beach, get in the pool, stay away from alligators, without the need for government to fulfill my needs. And as you watch that couple-minute montage, and you realize looking at those people who were in the montage, number one, most of them were probably under 30. And I've mentioned this before. Can you imagine feeling helpless at that young age? The one who just got elected, I believe, is 28 or 29. And she has no idea what life is. She's never accomplished anything. She was barely alive when 9/11 happened. I don't want to hear your opinions based upon what you read. We lived it. We were there for it. They're trying to shape people's ideology, and you can't let that happen. And the other thing is, you better steel yourself for a fight, because if you noticed, every single one of those people said, fight, fight, fight. We're going to do this. We're going to fight for this. I don't know who the hell they're fighting, because it seems like they can only fight in their own meetings. They have no strength, no power, no influence beyond social media and amongst themselves. As Rahm Emanuel said, and I said yesterday, they are turning blue states into a cobalt blue. They are not making any inroads into any red areas. They're still dangerous. I'm going to show you something today from Judge Janine. I'm going to show you something else that happened with Pete Hegseth, which was made me almost want to drive to Washington to see how horrible these people are, complete scumbags. But nonetheless, when we're seeing this kind of stuff happen, and he's telling people, the only thing about it thus far is that it's not an edict, it's not an order. We're asking you. But that's the first salvo. That's the first thing you do when you let people know we're about to flex some muscle. We're about to turn off your stuff. Because notice at the end what he says here. During a historic heat wave, I should call it heat wave, AC will save lives, but only if we keep the grid stable. Sorry. We tried. We had to turn off the power where you live. You know, all those smart meters? Yeah, we had to turn off the power in that area. We're going to have to turn off the power in that area. Can you imagine? Can you imagine there be a mayor working in cahoots with the power company, deciding at this point who gets to stay on and who gets to stay off? How about, you know what, let's turn off Schenectady. Those white rednecks up there, they'll be all right. They won't cause much of a problem, long as we here in Manhattan have all the AC we need. So turn off Rochester, turn off Albany, and let's turn off Schenectady. And if we get further, let's turn off the Catskills as well. And let's direct it down here, because, you know, this is where we all are. All our socialists are. We need to fulfill their needs. Don't think it's being far-fetched. What? You've seen it in California. So funny how this first summer of him being in office, and boom, he's met with a crisis where he wants to turn off your electric. And it's spreading. This showed up as well. This was from somebody named Jim Hansen. Jim is a president of World Chief Strategist for Middle East Forum, former special forces, blah, blah, blah. He's always on MSNBC. He goes, unpopular take, 78 degrees is perfectly fine for a house. Excuse me, Jim. Who the F are you? Who are you to tell anybody what it's perfectly fine? That comfortability of telling you how to live is starting to permeate. You see this? It's perfectly fine. Especially when it's 98 degrees outside. There's a 20-degree rule. I'm gonna have to ask Robin if she's ever heard this 20-degree rule. I never heard this in my life. There's a 20-degree rule that your AC can lower the ambient temp that far without running continuously under strain. Let me just stop you there, Jimmy. Our AC runs at 69 24/7. There is no downtime. There is no when you go away, turn it down. Do you know what it I'm not going to tell you the square footage because it pissed some of you off maybe. But you know how hard it would be to cool down a house that people in Boca live in if they had to turn it off when they left? That would be more of a strain on the grid than just leaving it running. You moron. This has nothing to do with Kami Mandami. It's HVAC common sense. So he's now imparting his knowledge onto the rest of us. You have to understand, you don't understand HVAC. I lived in Florida for 30 years. Trust me, we understand HVAC. By the way, HVAC down here in South Florida is such a needed profession for guys to work on it. There are guys who work on air conditioning who make 100 and 150 grand a year. It is one of the most sought after positions in South Florida. I imagine it's that way in Vegas and Texas as well. You work for an HVAC company, you're only there for a couple years because you realize, I know how to do this. Now I can do it myself. And then once you learn how to do it yourself, hey, oh, it's after 9 o'clock because your AC always breaks down after 9 o'clock or on Saturdays. Yeah, it's going to cost you double. I don't care. I don't care. Just get over here as fast as you can. I'm sure they get many calls like that. Hey, Mr. Smith, you know, it's Saturday at about 9 o'clock p.m. I could get somebody over there, but it's going to cost double. I don't care. Just come. And then they get here and they hook up the doohickeys and they do the thing and they ding. I don't even know what they do. And they're here for like an hour. And like, yeah, that's going to cost you $500. And let me know if you need any more help. They make 100 to 150 grand a year. They got billboards on the side of the road down here. One company has these amazing billboards, and it's like, your wife is hot. And it's like some pretty blonde woman, but unfortunately, she's hot. She's just sweating. And anybody married, you never want to get that call or a wake up from the wife, where the wife comes in and goes, the AC's not working. Well, will it be okay till morning? No. All right. We call the guy. Hey, it's going to be $500. Come fix it. So this guy's full of crap. If you want to pay to cool it lower and set yourselves up for repairs by stressing your system, feel free. Well, except for the cost, we don't care. We know the kind of stress we put on air conditioning units. Being in real estate, I know when I walk and look at a property, one of the things we look at, how old is the roof? When was it last installed? And how old is the AC? And AC is going to have to be replaced. Is it the ductwork? But we know the importance of AC in South Florida. It's a whiny, climate-controlled softy these days. I did my suffering in the brutal heat for many years. I do 68 in the winter and 78 in the summer. I don't care. What is the reason for him posting this? Why should we care what what the hell is his name? Jim Hansen thinks. Why should I care? I moved into a specific house with specific amenities so that I could live the life I want to live. Not just have you tell me you'll take care of my needs. If you think you can take care of my needs, then you're telling me you're a communist. That's straight up communism. Nothing else but communism. You want to see some more communism? This kind of crap that I saw when they're talking, I saw this post. The richest man on earth dismantled the organization that feeds the poorest children on earth. Elon Musk's dismantling of USAID has already killed more children than Lebanon, Gaza, and Ukraine combined. At which I responded, we Americans are not responsible for the so-called poorest children on earth. It's happening. It's bubbling up right now where they feel comfortable telling you and me where we should be spending our money and how we should be spending our money. I've got one daughter. I got 3 grandkids. I got a wife. I got 2 little dogs. I got sisters. That's the extent of my network. It's not a couple kids over in Africa somewhere. I got nothing to do with that. I feel for them. We donate. We give money to the church, but you can't force people. You can't force Americans, especially when they have no idea where that money is going. It's crazy. It's absolutely, we're getting to the point now where you really have to watch out. Like I wrote this afternoon, one of the biggest problems we have in America is foreign countries and commie-crats expecting us to foot the bill for poor people across the world. Enough. After decades of feeding poor kids and poor people, you would think they would be responsible and stop behaving like, I can't say it, YouTube would be mad, and stop having kids. Here in this country, if you keep smoking and smoking, they tell you you might get something. Barry, you can't keep eating blueberry muffins. If you keep eating blueberry muffins, you might have a sugar problem, so don't eat no more blueberry muffins. Hey, you can't do fentanyl. See, we take warnings. If you know you live in a place where all there is dirt, maybe you might want to not go into the hut and do the hump dance and have babies. And it just expect us to pay for it and then get mad when we tell you we've given enough. Why do these people never, ever, ever talk about personal accountability? I've met very, very poor people who have done very, very well in life because they took personal accountability. I did this. I am going to do that. Not, let me just have 10 kids and hopefully that money from USAID arrives in a couple of days. Otherwise, we're in trouble. Might have to go catch a lion or something. No. They're trying to make it seem like it's your fault. They're trying to make you feel bad that you have to, you only need something. Well, take care of your needs. And I'm telling you right now, every time you hear that, every time you hear them say, we're going to take care of your needs, what they're saying is we want to imprison you. Prisoners in this country get 3 meals a day. May not be the most tasty of meals, but they get those meals. They get those cots. And you know what else they get? Air conditioning. I had to put the cherry on the top right there. It's like, so you're not even going to treat us like prisoners. You're going to treat us less than prisoners. They get all the meals and they get their AC. And you're telling us free people out here, you can't be as good as prisoners. There ain't a prison in this country where the AC is over 78. In fact, the temperatures in prison is so freaking cold because it makes you docile. It makes you not want to fight. They're painted a certain way. They are cooled a certain way to make the people in prison, number one, realize you're in prison and that you're being taken care of. Don't screw up. I don't intend on having a government take care of me. I don't ever want a government to take care of me. I hope you never get in a position where you have to rely on the government to take care of you. Because if you have to rely on the government to take care of you, then anytime they want to, they can tell you, nah, we can't take care of you anymore. Even though there's a wedding happening down the street with 20,000 people in a giant arena, and they're going to be nice and cool, those of you who need to be taken care of are at the whim of somebody's decision. So I'm going to show you a whole bunch about more about this communism stuff. Give you a quick update. I've got Janine Pirro's press conference because they indicted somebody today for the messing up with the reflection pool. Of course, the media wasn't having it. They weren't happy. Then I've got Pete Hegseth. If you haven't seen this, he had a nice ceremony. But it's important that you listen to this because you won't believe what your ears say. What else we have on tap? Oh, at 5 o'clock, I have a hard stop. President Trump is going to be on TV at 5 o'clock, which I don't know if it's going to be a call-in or if he's going to be on camera, but at 5 o'clock, we will jump to that. So that's where I am so far. And we could take it from there. SB, what you got? Anything? Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh my God.
Woo!
Oh.
It's freezing in here. I lowered my AC. I told Madame to shove it. It's like 32. It's going to snow soon in here. Woo!
Oh my gosh. I'm telling everybody that's the first shot of communism, letting you know we're gonna make you feel uncomfortable if we feel like it. Oh boy.
Oh my God. Hello, people. How are you doing?
What you got?
I have two stories. The second one, do you want me to do clandestine first, or I had a?
Hold on. Did I even hold on? I think I brought it up.
Two
Hold
from the
on.
bottom.
Yeah,
From the bottom.
I'm deleting other stuff. Okay, here we go. All right, go ahead.
All right. I mean, I love this guy. I love the way he thinks. So anyway, this one's going to be a minute or two. For those who don't understand, the deep state essentially had a standing army within our walls in the form of MS-13, TDA, ISIS, etc., that walked freely across our southern border. The Trump FBI have been quietly cleaning up the network of deep state insurgents that have embedded themselves within our nation. This is a necessary step before any high-profile arrest can take place. We were told this is exactly how it would go down also if you cared to pay attention. Q told us that we would first have to secure the nation.
Who?
Q. Yep. To secure the nation, safeguard the public, shift the narrative, remove the rats in D.C., remove ISIS, MS-13 to prevent their fail-safes, right? Widespread violence and chaos, etc. So we have to clean up all the pawns, knights, bishops, rooks before we can safely take out the king. So remember now, all the trolls that would come in, they're not doing anything. So for those complaining where the big arrests are, you have to see the bigger picture. But you should also be excited because the prerequisite steps to carry out those big arrests are happening. U.S. Mil-NG around the country, the MS-13 ISIS insurgency network is being cleaned up, and public opinion has been shifting in our favor for years. It's happening. I love this.
So for those who don't know, this is what's called a drop, and it's by that 17th letter. So tell me about this.
Be the autist we know you are. Those who cannot understand that we cannot simply start arresting without first assuring the safety and well-being of the population. Sifting through the narrative, removing those in D.C. through resignation to ensure success, defeating ISIS, MS-13 to prevent those fail-safes, freezing assets to remove network-to-network abilities, kill off COC to prevent top-down comms /orgs, et cetera. Should not be participating in discussions. And that is Q.
And what's interesting is the very tied-in post here.
Right.
Is,
and look at that.
And nobody talks about this.
Patel's doing nothing. He's doing nothing.
29,000 violent gang members since president has sworn in. Arrested 29,000. FBI Director Kash Patel says the Bureau has helped dismantle 2,700 gangs, calling it a 365% increase. Over the same point, the previous administration, Patel also said arrests tied to Venezuela's TDA are up 519%, with hundreds of alleged members arrested on charges. Wow, they're just taking them down bit by bit. And people, well, because they don't see it, they don't know. And there's a lot of people online right now who are, how can I say this, Kash Patel haters as well. And they spew out as much disinformation as if they have inside information. What's funny is they say they have inside information, yet they got booted. You know, and so I love it when they say they have inside information, because it tells me, and probably tells people like Patel, you still got worms in there. You got to get these worms out. There's still people out there, and when they say that, that's also allows them to probably start looking and monitoring everything that's happening, which is why they probably were pissed off with DNI, temporary DNI, Bill Pulte, who President Trump said, you can go ahead and just declassify anything you want, which freaked out none other than Hillary Clinton. I don't know if you saw that. She got all kinds of freaked out. And she actually came out in a video. I don't have it. Maybe you can get a hold of it. But she actually came out in a video and told people not to cooperate. I mean, what's it called when you don't cooperate with the president.
Treason. Handcuff.
Hey, Hillary, are you going to bail me out? Oh my God.
I was wishing her happy birthday the other day. They had a picture of her saying happy birthday to the future president. I was like, happy birthday. Yeah.
Oh, gosh,
my God.
that's too funny.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So the other story came out a couple minutes ago. Apparently, Senate Republicans revealed that the Democrats are plotting to shut down the government once again ahead of the midterms. So here we go. Round 3, round 4, round 5. Here we go again. So
are you? Let me ask you a question. Are you surprised?
Okay. No, absolutely not. I mean, when I say this, I thought it was an old story. Actually,
yeah.
I'm like, and it's got a picture of crying Chuck, and then you got two Jeffries there, and
I mean, again, when you see those kind of stories and you see their actions, does that sound like confidence at all? Does that sound like anybody who's winning? No. They don't have anything, any options. They're not even confident enough in this, commie stuff that's going on, because Rahm Emanuel is right. All you're doing right now is turning blue areas cobalt blue. You're not affecting hardly anything outside of the areas you already control.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what I saw winning yesterday was when we saw it, and you were showing it during the after party when he was walking to Air Force One. That was confidence, man. And then he's just trucking up the stairs. He didn't fall down like Mr. Potato Head. But I mean, it was such a confident walk. Like, he doesn't look concerned at all. He looked very calm. And
not at
80
all.
years old. The guy looks like he's 60. I mean, he's making me look bad.
I mean,
I had a lot of energy.
I looked at that plane, and it looks like it's even higher than the other Air Force One.
It's beautiful.
Those steps look like, oh my gosh!
It's almost vertical.
Yeah,
I'm ready for a zip line. Bring me up. Come on.
Got to go do some workouts first before you get in that thing. I'm like, okay, I got to go keep going up these. They need to get like electric escalator or something. It's 2026. Do we not have a mobile escalator at this point?
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, right?
And I don't even really care. I don't care what president it is. You're looking up at this thing. I got to walk all the way up there. Huh? Yep. Go for it. Man, absolutely crazy. I'm not a Rough Rider.
All right. That's all I have right now. So I'll let you cue the commercial and get on with your show, Barry.
All right, we got like I said, I've got a piece or two to run, and then President Trump is coming up at 5:00. So I'll
20
get
minutes.
to 20 minutes.
All right.
Is it 20 minutes?
23 minutes. 23 minutes. Yeah, the Pirro interview was fire, man. That was awesome. I love that.
All right, I'll be back at you. Thank you. All right, let's let you know this is a paid advertisement from Rumble Wallet. I love Rumble Wallet. Quick question. Oh, by the way, I won't mention it, but quick question. How much control do you have over your money right now? Technology has changed everything, and now it's changing how money works. Crypto started as a niche, but now it's going mainstream. They're even bitching at President Trump because he made so much money. But faster payments, more control, fewer middlemen, taking the government out of everything. This isn't hype. It's just where things are going. And getting started today is easier than you think with Rumble Wallet. You can buy Bitcoin, hold dollar-backed stable coins all in one place. It's a non-custodial crypto wallet, which means you, not a bank, not a government or a platform, control access to your funds. Setup is simple. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your own debit card, credit card, or bank account and be up and running in literally minutes. And for a limited time, you can start your wallet with $10 in US stablecoin by downloading the Rumble Wallet and entering my exclusive promo code Barry10 when you sign up now. You can even use your Rumble Wallet to support your favorite Rumble creators like me directly. So do this now, scan the QR code, click the link in the description, or go to wallet.rumble.com/Barry and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, enter your promo code Barry10 to get your $10 in US stablecoin. This is a limited time offer, so act now. Take control of your money. Get started with Rumble Wallet today. Terms and conditions apply. See the description below or visit rumble.com/promo official rules for details. And I just want to advise you, even if you don't have a whole lot of money, you might want to start dabbling in some of these different things and just like diversifying, hedge, protect yourself. That's all I'm going to say about that. We'll get into it. Where are we going here? Am I going here?
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
First, we're going to explain what democratic socialism is. And what democratic socialism is about is saying that it is immoral and wrong that the top 1/10 of 1% in this country own almost 90%, own almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%.
The emphasis in democratic socialism is on democracy. And it's not about, it's just as much a transformation about bringing democracy to the workplace so that we have a say and that we don't check all of our rights at the door every time we cross the threshold into our workplace. Because at the
Yesterday, I don't know, one of the commies I interacted with said something like that they wanted workplace autonomy. I thought, what in the hell is workplace autonomy? If you work for somebody else, you show up. If you're salary, you go into your office. If you're hourly, you check in the time clock. When you first get hired, they hand you a handbook full of rules that here's what you have to follow to work here. Okay. I don't remember ever opening up an employee handbook that says, hey, you have full autonomy to do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. How the hell does that even work? That to me is anarchy. You just show up when you feel like it. You work the hours you feel like it because you have autonomy. So what you are actually saying, AOC, is you're advocating for the destruction of the workforce or the workplace. You want it torn down. No, I'm sorry. There is no democracy at work. Suck it up. That's just how it is. There's a boss. And the boss probably has a boss or two. Everybody in some way, unless you own a company, has a boss. There is no autonomy. The boss says, bring your butt here at 8 a.m. You get a half hour for lunch, and at 5 p.m. you can clock out. In between, I need all this done. How can there be anything other than that? That's what they want.
End of the day, as workers and as people of society, we're the ones creating wealth.
For me, when you ask what does it mean to be?
See, that's another thing. That's another problem. We're the ones creating wealth. They all think that because they are cogs in the wheel, they are the ones who are most important. And that would be true. I will hand that to them. That would absolutely be true, that you are one of the cogs in the wheel and you are helping create wealth and you should be compensated accordingly. Except you're replaceable. You see, as long as I can put another cog in and take your cog ass out, then you don't share in the wealth. You are no longer indispensable. You can be replaced. Like that. That's one of the things commies can't stand, is that people, it's a plug-and-play system. And the ones who don't get pulled out of that system are the ones that people find more valuable. I didn't say you're a better person, you're more valuable. Hey, you can do that? Yeah, okay. That way, when the manager goes to the meeting, so how are things out? How's personnel looking? I could probably get rid of 2 people, but there's 4 people I can't touch. What's wrong with the other 2 people? They're just not performing. Get rid of them, bring in 2 more people. That's what Democrats hate hearing. They feel just like with government, if you get a job, you should be there forever. You should have full autonomy, never, ever, ever to be replaced or fired. Regardless of your performance, you are too valuable as a human to be fired. God help us if we ever get to that point.
Democratic socialist, for me, it means to be fighting for a society in which dignity is guaranteed to each and every member of this place.
How do you make sure? How do you mandate dignity? So the other employees, one might hit on one girl, she might get upset. You insulted me. Somebody else may not like the way you smell. How do you guarantee dignity? I'd love for someone to answer that one. We've all worked in some place, somewhere, at some time in our lives. We're like, I didn't like the boss. I didn't like the people who worked there. I didn't like this person. That person there is a pain in my butt. It's an a-hole. You've all had these people. So how do you get, they make posters. Oh, we're going to guarantee dignity. No, because the minute somebody thinks you're a piece of crap, they're going to tell you. Another flowery statement means nothing.
And I believe that the state should play a critical role in the distribution of that dignity.
Wait a second. Where is the line one goes to get dignity distributed to them? He just said, this is prior to him being elected, that the state should have a role in distributing dignity. As if there's some way you could do that. How do you, hey, here's some dignity for you. I want some. Oh, here's some dignity for you. What the hell does that mean? It means absolutely nothing.
Ensuring that dignity is actually received.
Means absolutely nothing. So let me move on as now, because what they really were saying, they were describing in 3 different definitions communism.
In recognizing a communist, physical appearance counts for nothing. If he openly declares himself to be a communist, we take his word for it.
I am a democratic socialist.
You call yourself a democratic socialist?
I'm a democratic socialist. Mamdani is a self-described socialist.
I am a democratic socialist.
Claire Valdez, this is a candidate, again, aligned with the Democratic Socialists of America.
I'm a proud democratic socialist.
I identify as a democratic socialist, but I'm running as a Democrat.
We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism. We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about.
If a person consistently reads and advocates the views expressed in a communist publication, he may be a communist.
Social media posts from Daria-Liza Avila Chevalier's old X account, including favorable references to communism, Marxist ideology, and authoritarian communist figures.
As Eugene Debs once said,
If a person supports organizations which reflect communist teachings, she may be a communist.
I've been a member of New York City DSA for 7 years.
Feed the rich and feed the poor. This is class war. If a person defends the activities of communist nations while consistently attacking the domestic and foreign policy of the United States, she may be a communist.
Cuba has a remarkable public health system.
We remember Fidel Castro, whose legacy is complex.
Sort of the opposite of what the United States has.
You know, when Fidel Castro came into office, you know what he did? He had a massive literacy program. Is that a bad thing?
There's a lot of dissidents imprisoned in Cuba.
That's right.
The actions and U.S. contributions to the suffering of Cubans.
This particular bullying and the use of sanctions.
Like other U.S. policies, the cruelty is the point.
It does not help the people of countries like Venezuela.
Do you believe that the 9/11 terrorist attacks on America were the inevitable consequence of American foreign policy?
Inevitable in the sense that we destabilized a lot of the Middle East, that forced people to believe that another act of violence was the only response.
Social media post from Daria-Liza Avila Chevalier. One calls the United States an effing disgrace.
If a person does all these things over a period of time, he must be a communist.
I mean, our goal is liberation. Our goal is communism.
What are you, fucking stupid? Huh?
I mean, our goal is liberation. Our goal is communism.
So, over the next few minutes, I am going to prove to you that these people, if you haven't been already swayed, are communist. Let's not make any bones about it. Like that guy said, his name is David Jenkins, who you're going to see prominently throughout here. I feel like this is my Jeff Foxworthy moment. You might be a commie because these people are commies. And behind the scenes, too many of them have made videos telling you specifically, we're commies. We just can't tell everybody yet. Because if we came out and said we're commies, people would probably freak the F out. So we call ourselves Democrat Socialists. What's that? I don't know, but they don't either. So as long as we can continue this charade, we can do all of our bad stuff, and hopefully nobody will see these videos where we've been saying this stuff for the last 10 years. What was very interesting is Claire Valdez said she's been a member. Understand what she said. She said, I've been a member of the DSA for 7 years. I respect that. I respect the hell out of that. You need to respect the hell out of that. What it shows you is that they have taken these young people. She can't be more than 30 years old. And she has already given up basically a third of her life for the cause. These people are deep, they are committed, they are trained, and they are more apt to want to get what they want than you are in terms of what you want to get for yourself. Imagine it. We voted for Trump all the way back in 2016. So we're 10 years into the Trump movement. The same amount of time just about that you've been voting for Trump, some of these people have been plotting the ruin of America. And they've been doing it a lot more strenuous than you and I have. You and I have gone to ballots. We've made our votes. We've bought our red hats. We've gone to rallies. But these people, it's like going to Alcoholics Anonymous. They go to meetings every single day. They have video calls. They've been training. It's like the Olympics for them. They've been doing this stuff and doing everything. They're well into this. More so than even we conservatives and MAGA. At this point, if she's 29, that means she's been doing it since 22 years old. A kid I can't imagine back when I was 21 or 22, I wasn't doing anything every day of the week trying to overthrow the government. Those are the kids we used to laugh at in college. Oh, there's the commies over there. Yeah. Oh, you can tell them because you walk by, it smells. But these people have been doing it, and you got to respect Bernie. Bernie been doing it for 40 years and lying to them. I got 3 houses. I travel by private jet. And I make 175 grand here. I got books on anti-capitalism, but they're making millions. And the bamboozlement, they don't even see what's happening. Let's continue.
Mr. President, Zohar Mamdani said in an interview this week that he was open to being the poster child for socialist candidates. Are you worried about more socialist candidates across the
Well, I think it's a big threat to our nation, actually, because it's not socialism, it's really communism. They use the word social democrat because it sounds so nice, but it's really communism you're talking about. I think it's the biggest threat to our nation there is, maybe since our founding. That includes World War I, World War II, September 11th. It includes the Pearl Harbor attack. I think this is the biggest threat to our nation. People will smile when I say that, but the smart people are going to say, you know, he's probably right. It's basically introducing communism into the United States of America. There's never been anything so dangerous.
Meanwhile, they use the word social democrat because it sounds so nice, but it's really communism you're talking about.
I mean, he is ridiculous, but the reason he's using communism is because he knows socialism is really popular.
I mean,
it's only popular because you're lying to people. Now you're having to, deny yourself. Either you're stupid or you're absolutely denying yourself, because he's now called you out. You're communist. You're communist. You're the worst threat since Pearl Harbor. You're communist. He's just worried because socialism is, more popular. No, it's not. Why don't you just be honest with people?
Our goal is liberation. Our goal is communism.
So he's trying to turn this into communism when he knows that the ideas that social democrats are running on, that progressives are running on, universal health care, universal child care, making sure that people get paid higher wages.
I mean, our goal is liberation. Our goal is communism.
That guy is the leader of the DSA. You're going to hear him say, I want that in your mind the whole time you're watching this. Our goal is communism. We can't be on television telling people that. We'll say it on Zoom, but just so you know, our goal is communism. Straight up, direct in your face. And other people at this point, the media and these politicians, have to pretend they know America's not ready for the C word. So they're trying to placate people. It's just universal health care and universal food and universal housing. That's communism. By any other word, it's simple for people who have a brain. That's why President Trump said, anybody who's thinking, anybody who's smart, understands what you're seeing is communism. He actually just told us right there in the Oval Office, if you're smart, if you listen to these people, they are communists. Now, it's almost 5 o'clock, so I'm going to have to wait after this commercial to see if he comes on.
Incredibly popular. So he's trying to attach an ideology to it, a label that isn't correct. The reason that Donald Trump has to pivot from saying socialist to saying communist now is because socialism is actually quite popular.
I mean, our goal is liberation. Our goal is communism.
These ideas, whether you call it socialism or not, they are very popular across the country. So,
who are you trying to convince? If you feel that, then it wouldn't all of a sudden be a mantra that you have to keep saying over and over and over. You're telling the press this, you're telling people who put a microphone in your face, but obviously the people behind the scenes are giving you up.
He's got to attach a new label to it.
I mean, our goal is liberation. Our goal is communism.
But I'm not concerned. We're all going to be here fighting for the things that that we are for and that we want to deliver for working people.
So is socialism the end goal for progressives at this point?
The end goal is delivering for working people.
I mean, our goal is liberation. Our goal is communism.
I guarantee you when she answered that question, she has seen some of these videos. She used the exact words. Is the goal here communism? Oh, no. I don't know who that guy is. We'll have to take his videos down or do something. He should have never said that.
Universal health care, universal child care, housing investments, a housing bill, by the way, the most consequential in a generation that the president says is a yawn and is unimportant. It is so disrespectful of the things that are happening. And I think, frankly, that that's why there's so much support for many of these candidates across the country.
You just said socialism. Congressman, you just said socialism is very popular. Can you name one socialist country that ended well?
There's plenty of examples of how these policies make a real difference. And I'm excited to make sure that Americans have the access to them.
Look at her eyes. Watch this.
New York City.
How she cut her eyes at her. You know, what's really funny to me is after she turned to walk away, all the other reporters just accepted it. That's it. That's our story. Let's wrap. And Allison from Lindell TV, just like, no. You have to explain this one. Why are you running now? Now that you've said the party line, now that you've spewed your stuff, hey, can you tell me anywhere this has been successful? No. Oh, plenty of places. Where? One. Just one. Oh, I can't tell you. Can't tell you that I'd have to kill you or something. Absolutely crazy. All right, so President Trump should be up here any second. Looking on the camera. We'll come back to this video. Let me see if they, it says coming up. So not yet. So we can keep going. Let's go.
Had a bunch of primaries last week. We saw a bunch of socialist candidates win. Did you happen to vote in those primaries?
I did.
Do you feel comfortable sharing who you voted for?
I vote for Brad Lander.
I voted pretty much down the line for those socialist candidates.
If you had the opportunity, would you vote for a socialist?
100%.
Why?
Because it's better for the people.
No one even knows what socialism means. Okay, no one knows what capitalism means. They're just like all buzzwords. We're talking about like real issues on the ground here. That's what Zoran is all about.
Where is one?
Hold on. He had ponytails, or pigtails rather. He had pigtails, a dress, and he's telling us nobody ever knows what socialism or communism is. That's probably the least opinion person I'd ever want.
Place where socialism has worked.
That I wouldn't know, but I'd like to see.
That really isn't my concern.
You know, Cuba has done pretty well despite like all the sanctions.
Would you want to go live in Cuba?
If America would stop interfering with Cuba.
What is one thing you would like to see happen tomorrow to make us more socialist?
Everybody has health care. Everybody has free education.
I love the United States. I'm a true patriot. I'm staying here.
Somebody tell her the definition of patriot, please. I'm pretty sure she doesn't know what she's a true patriot really actually means.
With it, and I'm going to fight the fascists who are currently in charge of the federal government.
How are we gonna... And that just tells me you don't know what patriot means. That you just told everybody I'm a strong patriot, but I gotta beat the fascists that are in government now. Lady, I don't think you understand the definition. Somehow you missed the movie with Mel Gibson. Patriot? No, you're far from patriot. If you were a patriot, you wouldn't be calling the existing government fascist. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know what she's a patriot of. See, you can be patriotic, but maybe it's not about America. I don't know.
Pay for it.
How are we going to pay for it with tax money? With tax dollars?
Okay, where the tax dollars come from?
Tax dollars are coming from all of the billionaires and wealthy people.
Well, they already pay, the top 1% already pays 50% of all taxes. Yeah.
Can you
IRS data reflects that the top 1% already pays 50% of all taxes. But I ask you, so if you tax the rich to oblivion, what happens when the rich leave the city? Who's to tax then?
They won't leave the city.
Why not? They've already done it in California.
Because in New York State, we have Wall Street. They're not leaving.
She needs to come on down here so I can take her to Brickell in Miami where she can see the redundancies that people in Wall Street have already built. So if they have to get, they can get like that.
So what
you think they can't leave? Then who are you going to tax when they leave?
We're just going to continue taxing people. But
the middle class, right?
Yes, actually, the middle class.
Okay, so you explained it. So we're going to tax the shit out of the middle class when the rich people leave after you tax the shit out of them.
I think we should tax the shit out of everybody. Yes, I think the middle.
That's it. That's all you need to hear. That's what these people believe. It has nothing to do with tax the rich. It has nothing to do with that. They are going to tax everybody. They've already had their discussions. Everybody got to give up your money. No, it's not just the rich people, because you can't make it work with just the rich people. You got to tax everybody. You got to feel that warm embrace of collectivism and make sure you get your bologna sandwiches. Everybody gets some taxing.
Class should be taxed 50% like it does in Sweden.
Hey, Democrats, you're getting suckered. You're getting pulled in.
Now, I don't know if you know this guy, but this is Donnie Deutsch. Donnie Deutsch has been a nemesis of President Trump before he was President Trump, even back when he was Donald Trump. Donnie Deutsch used to own a big, giant advertising agency called Deutsch. And he's segued into like the marketing guy on MSNBC. And so he's been on Average Joe in the morning for years and years and years. And so now he might get fired because he's telling Democrats, you got a problem.
This whole socialism thing, this whole democratic socialism thing, and you see where the energy and the juices, and I don't think it's just New York. I think it's where the passion and the sexiness in the party is, because we're going to blow everything up. It's a loser in a general election. Understand that. You're getting sucked in. Here's basically why it's happening. And basically, they're running on stuff that Democrats want, and it's going to be a loser in the general elections. 70% say socialism is a good thing. Losing proposition. 70% are against Israel. This is their fundamental platform. Just, shit on Israel and socialism for everybody. Ain't gonna fly. And by the way, here's what you need to know about the DSA and the working people. Do you know that 85% are white, 85% have gone to college, 35% have gone to grad school. So they're just smug white kids who had everything handed to them, and they just don't understand it. They just
take that. Let me take that a little bit further for you. 85% went to college, and then 30% grad school. Only 4% are what would be considered blue collar. So this giant movement that's for the working class has no working class in it. And I don't know what they're going to do about blacks and Hispanics. For the most part, overwhelmingly, the blacks and Hispanics don't want to have anything to do with socialism. You know why? Because so many blacks and Hispanics who were legally here came here because of socialism somewhere else. I guess they're going to brainwash people there or something.
And blow it all up, because that's what you do. You blow things up. And the DSA, if you look at what's on their platform, it's everything from open borders, that's right, open borders, to letting illegal immigrants vote, to making private companies public, letting criminals vote, everything. Oh, and don't kid yourself, the Republicans are going to brand the entire Democratic Party with these new faces, with Chevalier and Valdez. The last cycles you always saw Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib. Well, now they're doubling down. And whether you like it or not, that's what the Republicans are going to present as Democratic Party. So when you look at who's behind it and what they have to say, it's not going to win in a general election, period. Get that through your dumb Democratic skulls.
He's not wrong. He is not wrong whatsoever. We just keep remembering, they're turning blue to cobalt blue. They're not making any inroads into the red areas as of right now. Tallarico, he may be trying up in down in Texas, and then of course the Nazi, the Nazi up in Maine. But other than that, there's not even a sniff of it in the red area. So all they're going to do is hurt Kamala, who's trying to now come together with them. And the numbers just don't bear out the fact that democratic socialism works. And even worse, he's absolutely right. The branding that's coming, if I can see it, if I could put together this montage for you, where you can see it's communism, wait till Trump and his people start tearing into this stuff. It's way too early for them to start stirring everything up. But they're letting you know that first piece was actually put out by the RNC. And then obviously what President Trump said in the Oval Office, they are beginning to label it communism.
Critics have come out and said these kinds of things are dangerous for the party come November, because it'll be used by Republicans to suggest, as Donald Trump has, that the communists are taking over, the socialists are taking over.
I mean, our goal is liberation. Our goal is communism.
But you see, they've seen this stuff now. Understand the polish that you're seeing is that the media is now worried. PayPal, she's now worried. The cat's out the bag. These people are actually communist. And so now they're trying to stuff it back in the bag. Oh, Trump's just making this all up. Oh, you've already heard him talk about these people as communists. They're not really communists, except for the fact they are. And so for the next 6 months, our job is to make sure everybody knows that the warmth of collectivism and turning on your thermostat to 78 is just a byproduct of what they really have in mind.
A lot more nuance to why some of these Democratic Socialists are actually winning. There are a few things at play here. Number one, outside money. What tends to happen is Democratic Socialists share the view of many younger Democrats about U.S. support for Israel, and what tends to happen is the incumbent or the person running against them ends up getting the support of AIPAC and its affiliated groups. So that's one of the things at play. The other one is generational. As I said, Milat Kiros has not been alive for as long as Diana DeGette has been the member of Congress. We've seen that in various races. We saw it in New York's District 13, where Adriano Espaillat lost to a much younger challenger. We saw it in Texas, where Al Green lost to a much younger challenger. There's also this internal debate about moderates versus progressives. Obviously, those who are members of or supported by Bernie Sanders or Zoran Mamdani or the Democratic Socialists of America are progressives. They're on the left side of the party versus the moderates, although I will say Diana DeGette is not thought of as anything other than a progressive. And then fundamentally, there's this fighters versus folders idea, and that may be a lot of the frustration amongst people in the Democratic Party who feel that some of their leadership and their House-endorsed candidates, remember, every incumbent in the Democratic Party is supported by the Democratic Party by default. That is a position that some Democrats feel the party shouldn't hold. They want the person who they think is going to fight most for them to be elected. The other thing is the Democratic Socialists of America, as part of the Democratic Party, when they're running as Democrats, talk a lot about affordability, which is it is the number one concern that people express right now.
Affordability is the number one if affordability is the number one thing that people are talking about, if that's what people are most concerned with, don't you have to actually have money for anything to be affordable? If you don't want to work, if you want the government to take care of you, you want the government to feed you, so are you also saying the government should house you, should give you a free apartment, a free house? I can guarantee you right now what's about to happen if if President Trump signs this affordable housing thing. It'll fail miserably. Because once these kids find out what an affordable house looks like, they're not going to want to live there. There's affordable housing right now. I've talked about it for over and over and over. I've already spoken to you in terms of how easy it is for a young person to buy a house. All you need is 3.5% down, FHA loan, you're in a home. And you can have your down payment gifted to you. There's so many ways for people to buy a home. It's not about affordability. It's never been about affordability. It's about, I want what you have. I want what Barry has. I want what SV has. That's what they want. Because if you said if I did a bus tour and I said, listen, I'd like everybody to show up that's looking for their first time house, let me drive you to where a affordable house is. And I would drive them right by the beach. Oh, yeah. Then I would take that turn and we'd go to where the affordable house is and they won't get off the bus. It's a complete ruse. And all it's going to cause is more and more strife, because all these kids do is watch television and Real Housewives of this and the Real Housewives of that. And the chicks are all, going to multi-million-dollar mansions and driving in Range Rovers and going to the best restaurants. And people don't realize it's television. And they're like, I want that. I want that. You're not going to have it. If this is the life you're leading right now as a Democrat socialist, you're not going to have it. I can tell you that right now. It's not going to happen. It will never happen. It's only with hard ass work does it happen. Now they're getting ready to bring President Trump on, so I'll conclude this in a second. And let me just cut to MSNBC. Well, definitely not MSNBC, CNBC.
Statesman-like. It's hot here, but in the Oval Office, it was surreal. It was 40 minutes. We got to speak. It's the semi-quincentennial. We talked quite a bit about that and the greatest nation in the history of the earth. Obviously, and wide-ranging subject. One of the first things the president mentioned was exactly where the market closed today. He's very proud of that. But we talked about a lot of other things. Here's the president. Mr. President, it's great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me in this incredible place. And
it's a nice place.
Happy Independence Day and happy semi-quincentennial.
Yeah, that's true.
If I got that right.
Thank you.
250 years, and I just want to start flying at about 40,000 feet, and just, which you've done in a pretty nice plane lately, by the way, I saw that. Yeah. What's so amazing about this country, in your words, for the last 250 years? You always say, like never been seen before. There's never been a country like this that's ever been seen in the history of the world.
Well, a lot of people don't understand that right now we are in a golden age. You understand it very well. You cover it very well. We have more factories being built today than ever before. We have more people working today than at any time ever in the history of our country, and people making more money than they've ever made. I'm not talking about rich people. I'm talking about people that have like normal or normalized jobs, more money than they've ever made before. 401ks are up at levels that they've never seen before, up 80 and 90%. And the stock market's at an all-time high. I think it's 81 days out of a short, year and a half. 81 days, we have 81 records. So nobody's ever seen anything like that.
Or if it backs up, something's hitting a record.
Well, if it backs up,
the S&P or the NASDAQ or the Dow, another all-time high. But
you said if it backs up, hopefully it won't, but if it does, I will not be talking about it. I'll be talking about it other stuff.
But an unbelievable quarter, unbelievable first half of the year. Your first term, we saw, I think, if depending on what you measure it from, either 80% from election day, I think, 70% from inauguration.
First term was great. First term was.
It might even be at a faster pace.
This is better. So the first term, we had the most successful 4 years, including the COVID. When you include that. When I handed it off, it was literally, you look at the numbers, we had the highest market in history. First term was great financially. This is, I think, blowing it away. I think this is going to blow it away.
So we had the jobs number today, which is weird because it's Thursday, but the markets aren't open more. But 57,000 jobs were below expectations, and I think there were some revisions. But the job market has been stronger than people anticipated. However, we had $90 oil at 67, 68 today,
right,
and 57,000. Would you say that gives Warsh, the new Fed chairman who you chose, more flexibility to cut? Because for a while we thought the next move might be a hike. Now it's the stars are aligning. Would you say for him to cut?
Well, he's got a board that maybe is a little bit hostile, and unfortunately. And maybe a board that wants to do the wrong thing, so I don't know. He's a great guy and a great pro, and I know where he'd like to be, but he has to do what he has to do. I really think that I would love to be able to get back. In the old days, probably maybe before you started thinking about these things, but if you go back 20 or 25 years, when you announced great numbers, the stock market went up. When you announced bad numbers, the stock market would go down. Today it's the opposite. When you announce good numbers, the stock market goes down, sometimes really way down, depending on how good. The better they are, the more, because they have this phobia, they have this horrible derangement syndrome about inflation. And growth can be good for inflation, not just bad for inflation. And it's a shame. Anytime numbers are announced that are not so good, I wish I could flip it the old way, that when you announce great numbers, because otherwise it's almost like they want to kill strength. They want to kill success. You announce good numbers. I want to, you have a couple of countries. India is one, doing very well, but it's at 7-8%. Others, take a look at Japan's numbers. I mean, they're doing very well. She's very good. She's doing a good job, a friend of mine. But they're allowed to go up. We're not allowed to go up. If we go up, they want to kill it. There's no reason we should stop at 4%. We should be at 12% and 13% GDP. And I hate what happens where in the old days we would be, that's how we built the country. Now you announce positive things and they want to bring it down by raising interest rates. And it shouldn't be that way. It should go back to the way it was.
You mentioned that Warsh might not, the chairman has other people on the Fed, obviously. He still has Lisa Cook on the Fed. The Supreme Court ruled on Monday. I'm not really sure exactly whether it was on the merits or whether it was procedure, but I think you said that
procedure.
You're going to take the appropriate action when the time comes. What could you do to get rid of?
Get her off.
How would you do it at this point?
By winning the case. They sent it back, not based on the merits, they sent it back on process and procedure. So we'll start the process and we'll do perfect process and perfect procedure.
Speaking of the Supreme Court, you're allowed to fire, except for the Fed, you're allowed to fire people at other federal agencies, which for you in your term would make a big difference for you. But my question—
It was by far the biggest slaughter, as they call it.
Of the SCOTUS.
It was by far the biggest of all the decisions and all of the cases and all of, what they just announced. So this has been going on since 1932, where they took the right away from FDR. They took it away, which was, you think of FDR, that doesn't happen, but it did. He fought very hard to get it back. In fact, he wanted to pack the court. He was willing to pack the court. They were his justices. And this has been going on since 1932, and I want it back. And there are those that say this is one of the biggest decisions handed down in decades.
You know that
bigger than birthright citizenship, bigger than anything.
What if a Democratic, the next time a Democrat is elected president, and the executive branch has all this expanded power that you've gotten?
Well, then they've got it.
Don't you worry they'll undo some of your policies at that point?
I can only speak for myself. It's necessary.
Worry about what's now.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's necessary. It's actually an honor to have won that because every president since FDR has been trying to get that back, and I got it back. That's a big deal. It's a checkpoint.
Along the same lines, if the Democrats take the House and I want you to succeed as president. I want a businessman to run the country. And all along, you entered as a billionaire businessman, which was unprecedented. I think George Washington owned a lot of land, but no one's ever. I think JFK had a trust fund, but no one's ever been as wealthy as you. And you obviously know how to run a business, and that, I think, informs the way you run the country, obviously. Now, many people argue business experience is needed in government. And we've seen the stock market in the first term and the second term. I think it's been rewarded to have a businessman in there. So I think we shouldn't be surprised that your businesses are doing well. But how would you counter critics that say you're using the presidency to enrich yourself and your family?
Well, in a lot of ways, if you think about it, the stock has gone up so much. The stock market today, it's up 500 points. It's up to almost 53,000. I watched your show, and you had somebody on, one of your brilliant analysts, and they said if I had won the election, they said if President Trump could get the stock market to anywhere near 50,000, that would be an unbelievable achievement, and that was over 4 years. In other words, at the end of his term, 4 years, if he could get anywhere near 50,000, that would be, well, it's at 53,000, just a couple of points short of 53,000 right now, and that's essentially after a little bit more than a year.
But do you worry that if the Democrats were to win the House, that there's going to be endless investigations of you and your administration?
Well, I don't do anything having to do with my business. My kids run it. I put a lot of money. I had a lot of money, and I have a lot of money, and I've made money. I'm a business person. I'm a really good business person. I've made money. I've made a tremendous amount of money, more than I would have ever thought I would have made. And I let people invest it. I don't even know who they are. But it's given to big firms like that are on your show all the time. My son, Eric, handles it. I don't talk to him about things such as this. I think I'd be allowed to. I'm not sure even what the status is, but I don't. And he gives it into these like semi-blind trusts or blind trusts where people invest. There was a story today about Jensen Wang, who's fantastic, NVIDIA, and that I have some stock. I think it's very small. I think it's one of many companies that one of the big Wall Street firms invests in. So they said, oh, Trump has some stock in there. But I don't care about that. You know why I don't care? Yeah. Because I have a much bigger purpose. You know, this is the Oval Office. It's a much bigger purpose than whether or not I make money. As an example, the president's the highest paid person in government. And, you know, by some standards, gets a lot of money. I'm the only president, they say, that's ever given up my salary. I gave up my salary. Right. I don't get a salary. I gave it up. And that's a lot of, you know, by some standards, that's a lot of money.
But making money in the stock market, that makes sense. So as far as crypto goes, and I'm just wondering, you didn't divest your business, you have your sons running it. Right. I think vice presidents and presidents aren't subject really to conflict of interest laws, but there's this notion that you need to be aware of conflict of interest. Yeah. There was a large sum of money made in crypto. Did you know that your family business was going to engage in crypto? Did you have anything?
Well, I was there before I was in office, but the way I view crypto is a little differently. We have to be at the top, otherwise China's going to take it over. Like, for instance, AI, we're leading substantially in AI over China and everybody else. I mean, we're leading. When I was with President Xi 3 weeks ago, he greeted me and his first words, I mean, literally were, wow, you've really done a great job. You've really, because this country was dead. We had a dead country. Now we have the hottest country in the world. And the way I look at AI or the way I look at crypto is if we're not going to do it, China's going to get it. Most likely China, but somebody else. Japan, it's somebody else. And I want to, it's a big industry. Crypto, if you call it an industry, but it's a big deal. And crypto is a big deal. You look at it, the way it's grown over the years. You have believers, you don't have believers, you know, whatever it is. But it's a big deal. And anything we do, I want to be number one in. And we're number one in crypto, and we're also number one in AI.
In the disclosure this week, the amount of money that you and the family made in crypto, it was an outsized number. I was just asking, were you know about the crypto ventures? So that was just something.
By the way, I could know about it. I didn't.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing illegal. There's nothing wrong with it. I could know.
There's I remember Title 18, Section 208 from Congress. You, the vice president, and you do not have. You would have to recuse yourself.
I didn't even know that.
You would have to recuse yourself on every decision running the country that could have anything to do with you. So it just isn't feasible to do it.
Well, I feel badly in a way for my kids because every time my kids do, if they invest in a stock or if they go and do a bill, anything they do, because the presidency is so powerful, so big, everything, if they buy a cupcake company, well, the energy to make the cupcakes is, you know, sort of like, how's my energy policy? So therefore you have a conflict. Almost anything they do, if they want to buy a truck, if they want to buy, you know, if they buy an energy efficient truck, they have inside information. It's pretty tough in that sense. I tell my kids, stay away from as much as you can stay away from, but they also have a life. You know, we were doing business long before I ever thought of, you knew me a long time before I thought of even running. You knew me before I even thought about running for president.
I did. I knew you before
and
you
we did a lot of business.
Melania, I think.
Yeah, that's right. But I did, you know, I've made a lot of money over the years. And I think one of the reasons that I got elected was have a business person. And if you look at what's happening, we're beating everybody. We're beating China. We're beating every single country. We're the envy of the world. And AI, whether it's good or bad, we have it.
Let's talk about that.
And we are leading by so much. I'm letting all of these big plants, everyone said, well, we don't have the energy to compete. I came up, and this was something I'm proud of. I did it myself. I said, I came up with this idea. I let each plant build their own electricity. They become a utility. But these massive plants that are being built, they can't go off an old grid. So we wouldn't have anybody. We literally wouldn't have anything. We need double the energy, double the electricity that we have right now to do that. Just that one AI industry. So I let the plants, as they build these billions and billions of dollars of plants, I let them build their own electric generating plants, and they build them on top, they build them on the side, they build them separately, and we have nothing but electricity. If you really look, we have more than anybody. If I didn't come up with that concept, we wouldn't have. We would not be in first place. We wouldn't even be. Would be in last place. We wouldn't have any. We don't have enough from the old grid.
What about taking?
So I'm sort of proud of that.
Reportedly, Sam Altman is discussing giving the government a 5% stake in OpenAI. Is that possible? And is that true? And would other AI companies do similar things, or would you like them to?
I did something with Intel.
Right.
That a lot of people don't know about or talk about, but it was, they had problems with things. And they got hurt badly because no president ever charged tariffs, and Taiwan literally took 100% of the business almost. Mostly Taiwan, but South Korea a little bit, but mostly Taiwan. And I said, boy, if I was president, that would have never happened. Taiwan would never be in the position they're in. Now, of course, they're in a little bit of a tenuous position. And I have them all moving back. They're all moving back into this country. We're going to have 40 to 50 to 60% of the chips. I think by the time, or pretty close to the time I leave office, they're building chip factories in Arizona in particular. The biggest company in the world is building. They're leaving Taiwan, meaning to build this. They're building their biggest plant, and I think we're going to have a big percentage of chips. Right now, we had virtually nothing. We didn't make chips anymore. And Intel came in. They had a problem. I said, I can solve your problem, but I want 10% of the company. They said, what? I said, I want 10% of the company. And he agreed to. And the stock has gone through. So I think we made $60 or $70 billion in 8 months. Do I give credit for that? No. Somebody said, that's not very American. I said, no, I think it is very American, actually. And I've done that with other deals.
I think they had a loan anyway from the CHIPS Act, and now it's better to have equity than a loan, you would think.
It worked out well from our standpoint.
Right, that's what I mean.
We really had no investment. We had, on zero investment, we made about, I guess, $70 billion in a period of 8 or 9 months. But that's a great thing. What's happened is Intel has gone through the roof. It's one of the hottest companies, and they've done a great job.
Is Chinese AI, is it catching up, and are there some new restrictions you're thinking about that would make sense on technology flow?
Well, you need some guardrails, but you want to do as little as possible. You want to be good. When we think there's a bad player out there, there's a little danger, we stop the player quickly and effectively. We had a recent case where we did that. But you have to be in the game. AI is bigger than the internet. I've never seen anything. The internet was a big deal. Mm-hmm. I think this is much bigger than the internet. And I'm basing it on numbers. I've never seen anything. Look, I went through the internet thing and I watched and I saw it grow very effectively. But this could be bigger. If we're not competing, and if we're going to compete, because I really think whoever's number one is going to really win the race. And right now we're substantially number one.
We're going to try and do as much as we can.
You go ahead.
I hope that's okay.
If he needs a little more time, just relax. I'm not Kamala. Okay. They give him 4 minutes and then start screaming at him.
That housing bill.
Don't be nervous, okay?
I'm only in the Oval Office with. No, I'm not.
He's been my friend for a long time, and he's a good man too.
In a few days, it's going to become law one way or the other, the housing bill, right? You're going to sign it? Will it become law? Where do you stand on that? I know you called it a yawn. I don't think you were necessarily anti-housing bill. You called it a yawn because you think what's really important is
Save America Act, yeah. So I think the Save America Act is the most important thing that we'll have before us, and maybe for many years back and many years forward. It's voter identification with a photo. So you look at somebody, that looks like that guy. Voter ID, it's proof of citizenship. And it's no mail-in ballots, except for the military. We're very generous on this. If you're sick, if you're just not feeling well, you can get exceptions. If there's a disability, there's some problem, or if you go on vacation. But you can't send in millions and millions and millions of ballots where you swamp the place. And it's so corrupt. We're the only country in the world that does it. So it's those three things. I also had no men in women's sports, but we won that yesterday in the Supreme Court. And I also had no transgender mutilization of children. And frankly, we'll win that too. So I took them out. So I have the three things.
Will you let it go, the housing? You let you wouldn't veto it, would you?
So nobody knows more about housing than I do. I made billions and billions of dollars with housing. And I know exactly what they've done. They made maybe zoning easier, but maybe they made it tougher without knowing it. It's very complex stuff. But the housing bill is fine. There's a lot of Democrat points in there that I don't even think are good, but it's fine. But I've made the case I'd rather not sign anything until we sign the Save America Act.
You think through reconciliation
because Save America? Because if you do Save America, you're not going to have cheating.
Practically, how do we get there on Save America? What would you like Majority Leader Thune to?
Well, I would like them to get it passed. What I'd really like is for them to
filibuster,
kill the filibuster, terminate the filibuster. When they terminate the filibuster, then they'll immediately approve the Save America and 100 other things. You could sit down all day long and just vote, and you'd have it. And the sad part is we probably have 5 or 6 senators that won't vote for it, Republican senators, and all of the Democrats. So their policy's no good, the Democrats. I call them the Democrats because their policies are so bad. But the one thing, unfortunately, they stick together. They don't have.
Well, we'll see.
And Mitch McConnell.
We'll see what this
now a Mitch McConnell.
The Democratic Party's got their own issues right now. We'll talk about that a little later.
It's a different kind of issue. When they vote on something, they stick.
Like the board.
Look at the Supreme Court justices. The 3 Supreme Court justices, every vote, if it's for or against, it's 100%. I don't think they had any dissension. Where's our people? Yeah, no. It's almost, I've said it. Republicans want to show everybody how they're not controlled, how they're so honorable. Whereas the Democrat justices and judges, by the way, and judges, they get up. Barack Hussein Obama appointed me, and I'm voting for him. Republicans don't do that. And I'm amazed. I'm not saying it has to be a loyalty test, but it's much different. The 3 justices vote as a block. I think I can remember one time, but very, very seldom, do they not vote as a block. Whereas our people, and we have 6, but they move around a little bit and they suppress. For instance, birthright citizenship. I should have won that. That wasn't meant for billionaires from China bringing a child over and becoming an American citizen, and far worse than that, much worse than that.
The last word's not out on that either.
I'll tell you, the worst vote was tariffs. I'm doing the same tariffs, but now it's much tougher. Joe, I stopped 8 wars because of tariffs. India, Pakistan. I mean, I did so many. I stopped 8 wars. Everybody acknowledges it. And 5 of the 8 were stopped because of tariffs. I said, if you keep fighting, I'm going to put a 200% tariff on your country. Said it the same thing to the other. I did it with India and with Pakistan. 11 planes were shot down. They were going to war, and they're nuclear nations, strong nuclear nations. And the Prime Minister of Pakistan said President Trump saved at least 30 million lives by stopping this war.
You know what has been a really good indicator of what's happening in the war in Iran or whatever the conflict is oil. And regardless of what we hear from whomever has the stage in Iran, but you pointed out, we don't know who's talking at any given time. There's different factions.
We killed one group,
and then another.
We killed the second level.
But $67, $68 oil.
We're down to lower than we were before.
It shows you that probably, even though we have these skirmishes on both sides, and I don't know whether that continues, I don't know whether you can tell me whether that continues. Have you been close to doing more than just a a reciprocal move on them?
Well, I think I've done much more than reciprocal.
Right,
because
but you want diplomacy. You want
yeah.
diplomacy at this point.
Look, I built the military in my first term.
Right.
I'm using it in my second term. When I went in, otherwise we wouldn't have, and that's after Biden gave so much away in Afghanistan. He just said, leave it. We left brand new military vehicles. We left tanks. We left airplanes. These people are crazy. They don't know what they're doing. And there was no reason to do it. Right. Getting out of Afghanistan was fine, but they should have kept Bagram, the Air Force base. They could have kept it very easily. We would have gotten out with dignity and strength. That we shouldn't have been there in the first place. Or we could have won. I would have won it. I would have won it or gotten out, but I would have won it. But they just teetered around. You know, it's interesting. So we're in the war, and it's really the denuclearization of Iran. This is not a war per se. This is the denuking of Iran. You can't let them have a nuclear weapon. And I'm doing it for 3.5, 4 months, right? Look at Venezuela. That was a one-day war. And we've gotten our money back many, many times over for the cost of the war. But in a certain way, I'm doing just as well with Iran. It's a much bigger, more complex situation. Our relationship, by the way, with Venezuela is great. They're doing better than they've ever done with oil. The big companies are moving in, and we're getting a good chunk of it too, as we should. But with Iran,
what if they jerk you around? What if they jerk us around again with either the Strait or with the, you know, they know the midterms are coming?
Because they've had their own way for 47 years. Like if you're a spoiled child and you've had your way for many years with your parents, and all of a sudden they come down hard on you, it takes you a little while to get used to it. They've had their way for 47 years. They pushed everywhere. They were known as the bully of the Middle East. They pushed the countries around, and they pushed the United States around because we had presidents that weren't willing to do. Look, Barack Obama paid them to try and keep them in line, gave them $1.7 billion in cash. You remember that because you reported that. They put it on a beautiful 757 Boeing. They took all the seats out, and they stuffed it with green cash from Virginia, Maryland, and D.C. The banks had no money left. They literally took and they delivered it to Iran. And they took out satchels and sacks of money. In addition to that, they paid tens of billions of dollars. And you know, they got a lot of nuclear research and a lot of weapons and a lot of missiles and an enemy. They actually went on the other side. And how a Jewish person can vote for a Democrat is beyond me.
Well,
because I've been the best president in the history of Israel. And they acknowledge, and by the way, in Israel, I think I was at 99% or something. But Joe, you can't let Iran, whether it's Israel, the Middle East or not, you can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And when you say, maybe I'm a little bit nice, no other presidents even thought of doing what I did. So in my first little while there, I ripped their military apart. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. They have no radar. Their leaders are all dead. And they they raise new leaders. They're all dead also. We're on the third set of leaders. And we actually get along with them. I think they're much more rational. By the way, I think that's regime change, but I'm not looking for regime change. I'm looking for something very simple. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. Or if you want to see market disruption. So think of it. The oil today is at $68. The market's up to almost 53,000. The S&P, they said the S&P would never hit 7,000. Never. I did that in 10 months. They said I would never hit it during my term. They said I'd never hit 50,000 during my term.
We spoke.
And nobody else would. Yeah, but Joe, neither would. And they said nobody else would either. They said if I could get to 45,000.
I said that to you when you asked me if this was a pragmatic end. You're not going to be in a forever war.
That's true.
And
that's true.
There are other concerns. But
Joe, wait a second. We're in Vietnam for 19 years.
Right.
We were in Afghanistan for like 10 years. We were in the Korean War forever. We were in, I don't even mention World War I and World War II. They're biggies. But you know what? Stuff like this could have led to it. But we were in many, many years in every war. I've been there for 4 months. And what have I done? I've defeated them militarily. They're totally defeated militarily. They have some missiles left. We could wipe them out too. And I hit them 3 times last week very hard because they sent a drone into a ship. I hit them. Then they did something else and I hit them. I hit them 3 nights in a row. The week before I hit them 2 nights in a row very hard. And we're negotiating and we'll see whether or not. I think they've agreed to just about everything we need.
No. Do you, I'm going to switch gears completely, and we have assets left over there. If necessary, you're willing to do what's necessary.
We have all the assets. No, they're just waiting.
You're not anticipating another full.
Joe, I did a blockade that was essentially not a blockade. It was a wall of steel. We have the great Navy, the greatest Navy in the world. These guys are unbelievable. Not one ship got through to Iran. They have 300% inflation. They're making no money. So we're going to take some of the money and we're going to buy them. They need food. They need corn and wheat and soybeans. And we're going to have exclusively our American farmers provide that, assuming we get to the position where we should get to. I think we're going to get there. Their strength is gone. Their bravado is gone, although they keep up a pretty good front. The one thing they do have is fake news. The New York Times said the other day that Iran is in better position now than it was 4 months ago. I said, wait a minute. Their military is gone. Their inflation is up to 300% from 5%. Their leaders are gone. Their second row of leaders are gone. Some of their third row of leaders are gone. Their generals are mostly wiped out. But they said that they are in better shape today than they were 4 months ago before we attacked. No, we were very strong. And, you know, look, I always said I don't want to be a president with a depression on his resume. I don't want to be Herbert Hoover. Of almost all presidents, and some have been bad, some have been good, very few have been great, but I never want to be Herbert Hoover, because Herbert Hoover was the president that probably took us into the Great Depression, the greatest depression, led the whole world there. He raised interest rates and he raised taxes simultaneously. I guess he was trying to do something, but that didn't work out too well. By the way, you know what? It took us 30 years to get out of it. FDR didn't get us out of it. There's a picture right there, FDR, nice picture. It took us years to get out of it. I don't ever want to be in a depression. I don't want to be a president that oversees the great worldwide depression. That was Herbert Hoover. And it was a terrible thing. And he made a mistake. Now, if I want to be the tough guy and close up the strait for the next years, where 21% or whatever it might be, 20%, 21% of the oil never comes out, and you can't get oil anymore. You know what a lot of people don't know, one of the reasons it only went up, it went up to like $115. If you remember, and I've seen guests on your show where they go, oil will be $350 a barrel and there'll be a depression. Because at $350, there's a depression. It's automatic. It goes with it. I said, well, we got to do something. We did something nobody knew. Every night we were taking ships out through the south, which is the furthest point from where they have their little weapons. And they were going along the coast with no lights. For a month and a half, a lot of ships came out. We had one night where we took 22 ships out. That's a lot of oil. Those are big ships. Some of them are really big ships. And in a way, they had courage going out. But our Navy took them out. We escorted them out. And nobody knew. The lights were off. Everything was off. Everything was silent. We blew up Iran's radar. They had no radar. They still don't. We blew it up again the other night. They had a nice new radar system. They were all set to go. And we blew it up last week. They have to start all over again for a third time.
Have you talked
but Joe, that kept I think other things too.
But
you know, think of it. Did we ever get above 115?
Never went up.
Think of it.
Originally, it was at 115, came down quickly.
No, but they thought it was going to go to 300. If you have 300, then I become Herbert Hoover. I don't want to be Herbert Hoover.
Have you spoken to Elon since he became a trillionaire?
I haven't. I wrote him a note. I said, congratulations, very good. I have a very good relationship with Elon. Elon and I had a little dispute because he backed me 100%. He liked me. Still likes me. But I did a little thing called the electric mandate. We're not going to have an electric mandate where everybody has to have an electric car, where your beautiful son standing over there is mandated to have an electric car if he wants gas generated or gasoline generated or a hybrid. And I made so many speeches, and Elon was there for many of them, and I'd always say, we will not have the electric mandate. But when I actually did it, Elon was not thrilled about that, and I can understand it, but he's doing good.
Yeah, he's moved on. Do you think, have you talked to him about donating SpaceX to something you might want to talk about, or donating SpaceX stock to Trump accounts?
Well, I think that he will do that. Micron, which is a great company, just did it. Yeah. Michael Dell is a fantastic guy. He did $6,250,000,000.
Are you ringing the bell next week or something?
And I'm ringing the bell right here, I think. They're going to have a bell, and it's New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. I said, what do you mean? They don't do both?
You're invited to the NASDAQ if you want to.
Well, well, that's interesting. It's very interesting. No, they're doing it together. It's the first time.
I can do that. I have
No, but you know what they're doing? I was surprised. They're doing it together. New York Stock Exchange, I think Jeff is coming in, and the head of NASDAQ is coming in, and we're doing it together. See? It can happen. We're doing it. See this spot right here? The bell's going to be right there.
That brings me just back to 250 and how you think you can set us up for the next 50 years. And one of the things I think is, Secretary Bessent talked about the Trump doctrine. There were 5 things, and I think we got to have national capacity here for anything we need. We need to be able to get it here.
Right.
Reciprocity. We can't be. It can't be flowing one way to the rest of the world. We got to write the rules for the new technology, which is that's AI. Dollar's got to stay strong. We need financial leadership. But maybe most importantly, it's all got to flow up and down to every American needs to participate in the prosperity here. Trump accounts, I think it's a big leap towards, it's a novel way. We haven't even considered it in the past. Might be the most powerful, instead of just transfer payments.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. It's a child has no money, and when that baby becomes a man or a woman, they can have hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe more, but they can have hundreds of thousands of dollars because we're seeding it. And guys like Michael Dell and Susan, his wife, they were so strong for it. But think of it, he's putting up $6,250,000,000. That's tremendous amount. I don't care how rich you are, that's a lot of money. And he wants to do it again. And others are. So again, I literally just spoke yesterday to Micron, hot company, great guy, what a great guy. And he said, we're putting up $250 million into the Trump accounts. Mm-hmm. So many companies are doing it. And kids that won't have any money when they turn 18 or 21 have a chance of being sort of rich. It's an amazing thing, and it's been very successful.
Do you have a favorite president, or do you think there's a period that was so formative that if we lost our way in any respects, do you think at this point?
We've had some very bad presidents. The president has got tremendous power in this country, even before the decision that I got, Slaughter. They call it the Slaughter decision, which is an interesting name. But that's a very powerful decision. But it gave a lot more power to the president. But it has been a strong presidency, not just me. It's been a strong presidency. It's considered a strong office. Other presidents are not considered a strong office. Even if you're president, you can't do as much. But now with this additional, it's very special. We are respected again as a country, maybe like never before. A year and a half ago, we were laughed at. They're not laughing anymore. They respect us. The King of Saudi Arabia told me, and I said this numerous times. He said it, but many people said it. He said, President, a year and a half ago, America was dead. They thought it was dead. And right now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and we do.
Well, let's hope for another 250 like that.
Thank you very much.
We're on a good start. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
President.
you, Joe, very
For all
much.
your time. Thank you.
Great job.
Happy semi-quincentennial.
Happy something, right? Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You've seen the headlines. Big banks are predicting gold could climb over $6,000 an ounce, with silver going as high as $300 an ounce. The news is finally catching up to what I've known for years. The value of the dollar is under assault, and the demand for gold and silver is absolutely exploding. But who you trust matters just as much as what you buy. That's why I trust Lear Capital. They're an education-first company that prioritizes customer experience over a quick sale. And because of that, Lear has thousands of satisfied customers, over $3 billion in trusted transactions, and was named the best overall gold IRA company by Consumer Affairs. If you're considering gold and silver, call the best in the business and the company Robin and I personally trust, that being Lear Capital. Call today for your free investor kit and ask how you can qualify for up to $20,000 in bonus gold. Call 800-601-5430, or as you see on the screen, go to learberry.com. All right, so I think President Trump did a good interview. I'm not sure why Joe Kerrigan from CNBC was so nervous, maybe just being in the presence of the Oval Office, but he was nervous. I'm like, damn, dude, you've been on CNBC for years. You're talking to a camera down in New York, up in New York City, and you look nervous talking to him, even though you've known him for 25 years or whatever. I don't understand why he was so nervous. Maybe because he realized he had to ask some questions that were stupid. I don't know, maybe that's what it was. But in any event, President Trump, didn't even blink an eye. Hey, people don't like the fact that you've been making all this money. I got money. So what? Where's the scandal? I have money. I'm not shying away from it. There's nothing wrong with prosperity. Nothing. In fact, the stock market today closed up, as he was saying. Let me just make sure I have that. It broke another record. There we go. Dow jumped 600 points to record close, almost 600 points today, right before the holiday. It closed at 52.9. Man, I'm just telling you, I had posted something earlier and said, if you're not participating in prosperity, it's because your own choice. And I mean that. It doesn't matter how much you have available, you can participate in prosperity. And he keeps telling you, he keeps laying out the breadcrumbs for people. I don't know why they don't do it. Fear? Can't have any fear. Scared money don't make money. Forget what movie that came from. Scared money don't make money. Any event, so SB's got a story he sent to me, but I want to set this story up. Talking about these commies, I got to set this story up. So this guy here, he posted, I just heard an American bragging about USA turning 250 years old. Hilarious. That's cute, but European civilization has been around for 2,800 years. No wonder we are so much more advanced than you are. And I just had a very simple response. You don't have air conditioning, bro. How can you be so advanced and you don't even have air conditioning? Well, that leads me to SB's story, because this is too funny. Oh my God! I mean, I should forward this story to that guy. Yeah. All right, you take it, because this is too funny.
All right. Check this out. It's like somebody commented. It's like, the shopping after Thanksgiving. Shoppers in France smash open supermarket doors in a mad dash to get their hands on air conditioning units amid a heat wave. Record-breaking heat waves have been sweeping across Western Europe, with some countries hitting 104 Fahrenheit. just think, only about 24% of homes in France have air conditioning, and shoppers at Lidl supermarkets near Paris rush to buy those AC units. I don't think they have enough for everybody. What do you think, Barry? Maybe. Hey, look at them all. Come on!
No, I'm not making fun of the fact that they want air conditioners. I'm making fun of the guy who said, we're much more advanced than you silly Americans. You silly Americans, you don't understand. We've been here for thousands of years. But now you're just getting air conditioning. Oh my gosh.
Hey, Barry, I dare you to send the guy a air conditioned unit.
Look, empty shells. There's not a lot. That
it's
was
like
it.
bread and milk in the winter up here, you know? Get the bread and milk. They said snow.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man. That's just too much. That's too much.
Yes, sir. I thought you'd get a kick.
It's getting funny at this point because everything that these people are doing makes absolutely no sense. None whatsoever.
I do have a winning story from North Carolina. Let's see which. I think that might be the third one up. It's from Eric Doherty.
I got it.
Okay. So, you know, with all the bad stuff that's going on in North Carolina, I saw this. I'm like, hey, we'll play the winning meme in a second. Anyway, the North Carolina legislature has overridden the Democrat governor's veto, forcing a new law to take effect that blocks taxpayer funds from going to illegal aliens in welfare and housing. It also requires state police to cooperate with ICE and help deportations. This won't happen here in Virginia. I'm for sure of that.
Yeah.
Big win in North Carolina. Taxpayer dollars should never have been helping illegals in the first place. So it's Senate Bill 153, legislation that in part orders to agencies to ensure any and all beneficiaries of state services can provide citizenship.
Good job. Yeah, Good job, North Carolina.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
You know, just the fact of seeing those people storm the store for does it say what city it was where they were trying to get air conditioning?
I think it said in Paris somewhere.
Let me see if I can. Just the fact that that's out there.
Yeah, it said Lidl supermarkets near Paris.
How embarrassing is that for the French government, the French people? Yeah, we got to storm the Bastille, hoping that we can get some friggin' air conditioning. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, in the video in the upper right, it has the thumbnail. It's from the Weather Channel, believe it or not, and it says Nanterre, France, Nanterre. So yeah, the Weather Channel was actually showing this. Hey, I do have one story additional here, Eric Doherty, about it's a follow up on. Remember in Buffalo, New York, they had hoisted the Somali flag and said they're not going to do the fireworks.
Right.
Well, guess what? Guess what happened a few hours after they hoisted that Somali flag?
They ripped it down. Somebody must have ripped it down. Tell me that.
Okay, yes. The Somali flag raised by traders at City Hall has been stolen. This comes after Buffalo canceled July 4th fireworks and raised the Somali Third World trash flag. They reportedly broke the pole's access panel, cut a cable, and removed it overnight. Yes. Yes. Vigilante.
We're fighting back, baby. We're fighting back.
We are.
Here's a not too funny story, but kind of funny. They had to pause the negotiations in Iran because they're having the Ayatollah Assahollah's funeral.
Which one? The cardboard cutout?
No, it just came out of here. Let me. Oh no, I don't
didn't
have
see
it.
this one.
I have it on a different screen. I'll have to bring it back.
Okay.
All right, so we're 2 hours in. I still got a whole bunch of stuff to go. So
all right,
let's get to it because I got to finish this commie stuff.
Satisfaction with Donald Trump as president. The dissatisfaction numbers are highest as it comes to his handling of the economy. The economy and affordability were central campaign issues for Donald Trump, upon which he has not delivered. In some part, that's because of the tariffs that he imposed. In large part, it's because of this war with Iran that nobody was particularly looking for, but that increased the price of fertilizer, diesel, and gasoline. So Democratic Socialists do tend to have policies that are very directly related to housing affordability, to subsidies, to child care, universal health care, funding of health care, higher minimum wages, and those.
Yeah, it's pretty much communism. Universal, give us everything for free. We want it all for free. You know what's funny? Everything he just mentioned in terms of the affordability thing, it's not against people in the city. If you're talking about fertilizer, it's people who have farms, not people who live in New York City. The gas prices, nobody drives in New York. So the gas prices really haven't affected them. Maybe their Uber rides are a little bit more expensive. Grocery prices? Do you know what the grocery prices are normally like in Manhattan? That they're insane. So none of this stuff makes any sense. They just want free stuff.
Types of very explicit policies, including policies around the climate, that incumbent Democrats, some feel, have not leaned into.
I mean, our goal is liberation. Our goal is communism.
Whoever is putting this together is a lot more powerful than we give them credit for, because all these established Democrats are shook. They're all scared. They all have the same word, tent. So someone said, hey, here's how you're going to do. You're not going to distance yourself. You're not going to stand up for your values. If you want to stay in this party or part of this party, you're going to say we're all one big happy tent.
I posted this video a couple of days ago on my X feed, and I have a summation or prognosis, I think. I think what we are seeing, and quite a few people agreed with me, is that this isn't a, quote, sudden takeover. I think this is the disclosure. I think this party was taken over back when Obama took office. I think they've always, not always, but since Obama's been in office, they've been slowly inching towards communism, slowly inching towards their so-called democratic socialism. I think they've been building the trenches. I think they've been building the orcs someplace, somewhere. Like he said, there's people smarter. Yeah, there's people smarter. These are the people who are placing these people who have found these pockets of retention that they can go in and throw somebody in with a little bit of votes to take over an area. And if we're smart, now we understand what they're doing. And I think they had to take the veil off sooner than expected because Trump's kicking their ass. They realize we got to push all the chips into the middle of the table. This is our only shot. We've got nothing left. The desperation has caused them to rip off the mask. The desperation has caused them to open the kimono. There's nothing left. No more USAID. No, Trump can fire everybody. Trump's going to do this. He's only not even 2 years in yet. And he's just chipping away. And now they find out that the birthright citizenship, that's hanging by a thread. They're going to get Roberts and or Comey Barrett. They're going to get them. They're going to go back in. They're going to fix it. Kavanaugh told them what to do. Drop it in their laps. He's going to get the birthright citizenship. He's going to get a bunch of stuff. The Democrats at this point know it. And so, hey, let out the orcs. Let them run. And if they got to do anything this summer, go crazy. Do what you need to do. But unfortunately, I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who says it. This is the time of year that causes them so much strife. As I mentioned, we are going into July relatively soon. Football is coming up. The Olympics are coming. Nobody's going to be paying attention to this crap. At the same day that they're trying to take away air conditioning, Tay-Tay's having her wedding in Madison Square Garden. A whole bunch of millionaires and billionaires who they're supposed to hate. Nothing makes sense. It's completely helter-skelter, upside down. And they're hoping people don't notice. Yeah, Democrat socialism is really, really getting popular. Well, why the hell is Tay-Tay spending $20 million on her wedding? You gonna go after that millionaire? Or she's close to being a billionaire. Going after her? How about the fact that Pritzker is in your party and he's a billionaire? Don't talk about that. I'm a good billionaire. None of it makes any sense. It's all complete BS.
And a tent it's not for camping, it's camouflage. Because they're covering up the bad deeds by saying, oh, no, we have, when he said they have an argument, show us one.
Yeah.
Show us one. The closest thing we saw was when Weiner went to, and he got chased out. That's not an argument, that's an attack. And then what did he do? Did he fight back? No, in a very somber, very defeated speech, was like, we have to be better than this. He blamed San Francisco.
Yeah.
How about blaming the people who were doing it to you? But they won't. They won't. And this history has a way of repeating itself, and they have used the Hitler thing so much to where they're literally, that's their playbook. Germany started the same way, where the billionaires, the wealthy, the Jewish, all these people are taking all your stuff away. If you get with us, we'll take it back. We'll free everybody, and it's the same language. And we all keep thinking, oh, it's just one little one. These people they're groomed. They're taught. So there is a bigger underground than we're aware of, and they're popping up everywhere because they're well-financed. They're so financed that a politician who only cares more about money than votes are all bending the knee to them. They're all going on TV saying how they're willing to work with anyone except if they are a Republican.
Yeah. So it's funny as Tyrus is saying this stuff, and if you step back, you can see the picture, and you realize a lot of the people on the left and some people on the right just aren't seeing the picture correctly. They're not focused. They're not watching what's going on. SV, I wish you hadn't kicked this person out, but this person, Zoe somebody, said, only the rich got richer under King Don. At this point, you guys must realize the word that I'm going to focus on. Because what ends up happening is the woe is me crowd can't define that word rich. Only the rich get richer under King Don. Define rich. I don't know. My silver's up like 70-something% from the price that I bought it at. Would you consider me rich? Other people here have bought silver, and depending on what time they bought it, maybe up 30 or 40%. Some people jumped in and got SpaceX IPO. Some people have been watching and as listening to Trump, and as he says, we're going to do this, and they bought NVIDIA. They may have bought Tesla. Define rich. And that's the problem with so many people on the left, because they point to this. I don't have that, and that person made money, so they're only being helped by Don when, I don't know, sell your damn phone that you just tweeted on. Sell your damn computer or pad that you just had. Or it might be too late because the resale on an iPad ain't going to be that much. Sell something and go buy some silver. Sell something and go buy some SpaceX. Quit frickin' complaining. That's the part that people aren't getting. It's not just going to fall in your lap. Oh, the rich get richer. How do you think that happens? How do the rich get richer? How do certain people end up getting a little bit more? They actually have to take action. You can't sit there and watch television and eat your bonbons and see other people making money and get pissed off and then say the rich get richer, because rich is a perception. You might say that, I don't know, certain people you walk by on the street are rich because they have a certain car or they're driving a certain way. But then again, comparing it to, I don't know, Taylor Swift, that person ain't that rich. Well, Taylor Swift is marrying a very successful future Hall of Fame football player, and he ain't nearly as rich as his wife-to-be. In fact, he's like, hey, Tay-Tay, can we get married in Madison Square Garden? Can you pay for it? He ain't got that kind of jack. He looks at her and goes, she got money. I got some, but I ain't never seen the kind of money she got. It's all a matter of perspective. And so when I see people come in to troll and they say stuff like that, and they actually say the rich get richer, I'm not understanding if that's supposed to be a bad thing. And I don't want, and the reason why I'm highlighting it is I don't want any of you to ever feel bad because you made some decisions, took some risk, and decided I want to try something, and then you made a profit. And then someone's going to call you rich because you got richer? That's insane. That is absolutely insane. Never let anybody make you feel bad because you made the right decision, you took the right risk, and you were rewarded for it.
It's a lot more. We need to take a lot more serious and stop thinking it's just this one Mandami. He's educated. Look into him. Whenever you hear him talk by himself, it's abysmal. Kamala, abysmal. But whenever they have the script, it's all the same voice.
You need to watch that. You need to watch how these people talk. They are so articulate when they can turn their heads and look at teleprompters. But when they go off script, it's that tells you how it's choreographed. That tells you how it's faked. They don't make any sense. I've shown you so many videos of AOC. Like, what did you just say? Nothing. I can't read it. And because I can't read it, it tells you that somebody's got their hand up their butt and acting like Charlie McCarthy.
Communist, because Karl Marx was clear that socialism was the transition phase to communism. But also, we have to remember that communism has been entrenched in the left for decades now. Go back to 1995. Who held an event for Barack Obama during his first run for the state Senate in Illinois? Bill Ayers and his wife, part of the Weather Underground. The Weather Underground bombed government buildings in the 1970s. It was a revolutionary communist group. Look at Karen Bass, who's currently the mayor of Los Angeles right now. She went to Cuba many times in the 1970s. She was part of a pro-revolutionary, pro-Castro, pro-communist group. You look at Bernie Sanders. He spent his honeymoon in the Soviet Union. Tim Walz went to China.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. This isn't new. This isn't some newfound thing. All of a sudden, the Democrats, socialists, communists, they've been waiting. They've been plotting. They've been trying to figure out when they'd be able to release the orcs. And now here in 2026, because they've got nothing left, this is the final frontier for them. I mean, don't take my word for it. Look around. What do they have? Who's the leader? What are they proposing that's good for Americans? Everybody notices it now. All you do is talk about illegals. All you do is talk about shipping money over there. All you do is talk about taxing and taxing. You guys got anything in your playbook for Americans? It's 2026. Anything? Nope. And when that completely drained and people started looking and you really have nothing, well, okay, we got something. We got this stuff called Democrat socialism. It's really popular. If it's really popular, why weren't you talking about it last year? Oh, is it popular now because the media is going to back you? The media is going to hold their nose? You know, the media, the Caitlin Collins of the world, those people making $1 million plus, they're gonna hope you don't recognize that the rings on their finger and the pocketbooks that they carry, that they're for Democrat socialism. You understand the movie you're watching at this point? Mandami saying turn down your air conditioning, but Tay-Tay's getting married in Madison Square Garden. None of it makes any sense. Oh, we're going to bring Bruce Springsteen for our Democrat Socialist concert. Huh? And then when they're done, we're going to bring out Rage with the Machine so they can say, F you, I'll do what you told me. If you take a step back, you realize nothing what you're seeing can be real. Look, this doesn't make any sense. Hey, how are you guys okay with that? How are you okay with LeBron getting ready to sign a new contract for another 30 or 40 million at 40 years old? You want his money? How about the fact that in a month, we're going to see a whole bunch of guys running around the field banging into each other, every single one of them making millions of dollars? Well, it doesn't look too socialistic to me. Something doesn't make any sense. Hey, can I get a ticket? No, you can't friggin' afford it. Oh, how are we selling this? How are you going to sell Democrat socialism in the next 60, 90, 120 days? How are you going to tell people who paid hundreds of dollars to park before they took their $500 tickets, Democrat socialism? None of it makes any sense. All you have to do is take a deep breath, step back, and realize you're watching a movie. You're watching the empty movie of Democrats who have nothing. Matter of fact, I think what they're doing is they're abandoning the Democrat name. That's not working anymore. We're socialists now. And they're getting everybody to believe that it's okay. They're all getting on board all of a sudden. So if it's so damn good, why didn't Kamala do that back when she was running? She could have easily said, hey, I'm here. Joe's not running anymore. I'm a new Democrat socialist. No, now she's going to get together with Mandami. And let's see if they can. It doesn't make any sense.
Of times. So I don't think that this is new. It's just more out in the open, and they're more honest about it. It's more mainstream, which is probably even more troubling.
People got to get out and vote. That's the only defense.
That's right, Lawrence.
Can't be comfortable.
My name is Ken, and when you talk about socialism, I go back to the Margaret Thatcher line. Socialism is a wonderful system until you run out of other people's money.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is driving it, though? Do you think it's greed? Do you think it's jealousy?
I think these kids grew up getting free stuff, and now they're being promised more free stuff, and that's why they're voting.
It starts in the home, right?
At home and in school, you know, they need to learn.
Hold on.
For any overtime pay these officers are making, New Yorkers and tourists with mixed reactions to the high-profile event.
I feel like her concerts, like she always makes it look so good, so I feel like they could do a lot here at the Garden.
Are you concerned about public resources like the NYPD, 130 officers a day being used for it? Do you think it's a good use of resources?
Probably not. Probably a better thing we could use for cops. But, you know, she got the money, so why not? I probably would too.
So Fox sources say the larger wedding celebration is planned for tomorrow with about 1,000 guests. People magazine reports that the inside of Madison Square Garden has been absolutely transformed with carpets, canopies, and even grass. Brett.
They also made a big donation to charities there in New York City. So we'll follow it all. CB Cotton outside MSG.
I don't know how. I'm not making this up. I'm not trying to be redundant. I don't know how you look at Miss Tay-Tay in New York City and all 1,000 of those guests. It's going to be mighty cool in there. And then tell everybody else, hey, man, turn up your thermostat. Okay, we all need to get together here. We need to, embrace the collectivism. But dude, she's got 1,000 people at a party in Madison Square Garden, which happens to be in New York City. And even the people on the street, this is great. Tay-Tay's going to be, what? It's insane.
What made this country great, and how, it was hard work, but you get rewarded for hard work.
Yeah. So true. That's what my parents used to say.
Socialism isn't great in any circumstance, but the ideas that he has have to be funded by somebody. That wealth has to be created. I don't see people running out of New York. And much like you, I'm a Florida resident, but I also happen to have a house here. So I'm waiting for my notification on August 30th or whenever it's supposed to come about the tax. And my house is up for sale. I don't want to live in a city where I actually believe that it's too difficult to actually have my property value appreciate like it does in places like Florida. So over time, you're going to really ruin these commercial and residential real estate values. 2-3 more years of this, I think we've seen just a preview.
I mean, she was praising Kim and Stalin. I mean, between those two men, 100 million people murdered, like some of the most evil and terrible people, in the world or in history. And she was praising them, saying we don't have enough of their books, in our libraries. And of course, she deleted those things. But this is not ancient history. This is all recent views that people like this we are electing.
I mean, our goal is liberation. Our goal is communism.
That's all you have to remember. Their goal is communism. That's exactly where they want to take things. That's exactly their idea. That's what they've sold to these kids. That's everything that they're going to go for. SV's got something. What do you got before I keep going, man? Because I got a whole bunch more to get to before we
no, I'm just queuing something up for later. It's something that the White House just put out about Theodore Roosevelt. It's a little short video that Trump created. It's got some the background music is just music. It's not something I think it's copyrighted, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So
like
maybe
it.
I'm closing.
Okay. I'll download it while the next, because I'm going to have some time, because I'm going to jump to Judge Janine here, because she arrested one of the guys who thanks SV, who ripped up the pool, and so she held a quick press conference, and she got a little pissed off at the media. Of course she did.
The solicitor for the Department of Interior and Deputy Chief David Lamond from the Department of Parks, from the Parks Police Department. Did I get a, yeah. And today, I thought it was important to call this press conference because one of the most offensive images that I hold in my mind are the images of national monuments that are being defaced, roped, torn down, graffitied, and damaged by individuals. I have a vivid memory of this happening several years ago and over time, where our national monuments and statues are being torn down, and this is not the way of a civilized society. It is anarchy. And our nation has weathered moments of anarchy and chaos in the past, and individuals have made a decision, many of them, to destroy and to damage national monuments, not taking into account the fact that the rest of the nation considers these monuments important and necessary to our history. But this unchecked vandalism and civil disorder turns into criminal behavior, and that's why we're here today. They are an affront to the dignity of our shared history, and we will not allow our sacred monuments to be roped off, defaced, or diminished, or in any way impacted by disgruntled individuals who think that they, and not the rest of the nation, have the right to decide what should happen. These landmarks and monuments belong to all of us, and they must be protected for generations to come. And the president, when he came here in his executive order to make D.C. safe and beautiful, brought in a fresh injection of resources, both for my office and for all of law enforcement, to make D.C. safe. And the other part of that executive order was to make D.C. beautiful. And as part of that, in anticipation of the celebration of 250 years of American history, the president, as you heard from him, has been able to improve and to clean up 50 parks, more than 48 monuments that have been repaired, 22 fountains have been returned to service, and these monuments and fountains must be protected, and those who decide that they want to do harm will be held accountable, just as they have been held accountable in the criminal justice system in so many of the press conferences that you have been in this room to witness. D.C. has experienced a renaissance like it has never experienced before in both safety and in beauty. Today is about accountability for damaging a national resource, a national treasure, and that is the reflecting pool that runs from the Washington Monument to the Lincoln Memorial, which is, of course, a symbol of D.C.'s beauty and history. Now, it was recently renovated with significant funds and investment. Any tampering undermines that. And make no mistake, if anyone decides they want to damage that, whatever they think their reason is, or whether they think it's justified, or whether they think it's not important, will be held to account. This is a priority not only for the president, but for myself as well. So, Today, a grand jury has returned a felony indictment against a defendant, David Hearn, for felony destruction of property, for which he faces 10 years in prison. The indictment is in response to an incident that occurred on June 19th of 2026, in which the defendant Hearn ripped a piece of recently installed sealant on the bottom of the reflecting pool at the Lincoln Memorial. The evidence shows, and we will prove beyond a reasonable doubt, that Hearn willfully destroyed property at the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. This was a deliberate act to damage the reflecting pool at the National Mall that members of the National Park Service actually have worked hard to restore and have witnessed. By Hearn's own admission, on June 19th, he reached down into the pool. Our evidence further shows that the National Park Service employees observed Hearn actually forcefully and violently pulling up and removing the bottom liner with both hands. According to witnesses, Hearn damaged approximately 2 square feet of sealant from the bottom of the pool. A Parks employee actually told Hearn to stop his behavior and stop what he was doing. Hearn reacted by shouting at that Parks employee, saying that she cared too much about the reflecting pool, and why did she even care, since it wasn't her pool. Now, Mr. Hearn's behavior was characterized by witnesses as belligerent, rude, and disrespectful, according to National Park Service employees that witnessed the event. Now, let me talk a moment about those employees. Many of those employees have come from around the country because they are proud of this nation. They are proud of the 250th anniversary that we are about to experience. Many of them have decided to step away from their desks and to go outside and actually work next to the pool to witness what was going on, as opposed to staying in a cool office. These are the witnesses that we're talking about in this case. These are the people who care about this particular monument and what is going on. They work long hours and they are tireless in their efforts, and they must be shown respect and not be treated with belligerence and with disrespect by those who seek to damage the very monuments that they are there to protect. And they certainly should not have to witness the damage done right in front of their faces. The United States Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia remains committed to protecting our national resources, our monuments, and our parks from vandals, and we are especially committed to doing so in advance of our 250th anniversary. Now, I don't know if, do you want to add anything to this? Sure. Deputy Chief Lamont from the Park Police.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Deputy Chief David Lamont, and I am the Field Operations Division Commander for U.S. Park Police. U.S. Park Police's mission is to support the mission of the National Park Service and the Department of Interior, and to safeguard lives and to protect cultural resources. We understand this summer there are a lot of events for America's 250th birthday, and the U.S. Park Police will be very visible downtown. Our job out there is to keep people safe, and we encourage people to come down and enjoy the parks. That being said, if anybody does come down to the parks, commits any acts of violence, or commits any other acts such as vandalism, we will hold them accountable, and they will either be cited or arrested.
Okay, questions?
Was this part of the pool, you know, there had been some damage before. Was this part of the pool specifically, was the sealant already partially removed? Did he rip it back? Can you just describe in detail? Because he maintains that it looks the same as it did before he arrived. That's his.
You know, I'm not going to get into the evidence, but what I told you is what our witnesses saw and experienced, there was an effort, a violent effort to rip up the sealant from the bottom of the pool. And irrespective of whether or not, we think that, there is some situation that preceded it, we can state and prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he caused damage, and that damage is over $1,000.
Keying in on that, how do you prove that $1,000?
With an expert.
Is that because
come to the trial?
It has to be drained. Is that because it has to be?
You can.
drained?
We'll hear all that at the trial.
Did he have any tools, or was it just his bare hands?
Right now, we believe it's his bare hands, both hands.
So does that indicate in your belief that it was probably damaged before, or do you believe that he?
He damaged it.
Further, but do you believe it had already been damaged before?
He damaged the pool.
Before he touched it.
He damaged this pool.
But there have been, all these videos on.
Well, good. I'm glad you've got that evidence. Come on in the grand jury. You can testify. Next.
Thank you for your time today.
You're welcome.
The citation that Mr. Hearn received suggested that he would be charged with misdemeanors, but the president obviously called for this to be a felony charge here. Did you ultimately decide to charge this so harshly at the president's direction?
I didn't charge anything harshly. I charge according to the evidence. When we have witnesses, when we have the defendant on record saying things that are not true, and we have witnesses who are disinterested, who have no motive to lie, they have no agenda, they're just working there, and they are actually witnessing damage to a national monument, we're going to go forward. Now, my office reviews all citations. Everything that the police do in this jurisdiction is reviewed by my office. We review it. This is a case with tremendous evidence, and this is a case where the evidence dictates where we land. Next.
U.S. Attorney Bureau, there have been other people who have been arrested for
Yeah.
incidents at the reflecting pool. Are you taking all of them to the grand jury?
It depends on the evidence that we have. We have about a half a dozen other cases. Some of them will be misdemeanors, and some of them could be less, like a violation. But we're reviewing every case based upon the evidence and reviewing all of the reports. And right now, it's about another half dozen misdemeanors. Yes, sir.
The president said that somebody took a box cutter and cut the reflecting pool. Is there any update to that case? Is there any evidence that you can point to as a follow-up?
I was at the reflecting pool yesterday, and I think it's very sad. Someone intentionally did a tremendous amount of damage to the pool, and you can actually see where all the cutting is. They took a sharp object and cut for many feet along the pool.
Do you have pictures of that? Can you share with us?
Well, when I file a charge, I'll be happy to show you a picture, all right? What I'm trying to do is we're trying to find out who did it, okay? And until we get to that point, I'm not going to be able to, discuss anything more than there was tremendous damage that was caused. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. 4 years ago, we had that guy from Indiana who damaged the Washington Monument. He pled guilty and he was misdemeanor. What are you trying to do? Is send it like a strong message from now on who damaged and gonna get a big penalty, looks like?
We are in a lane where it depends on the evidence. If the damage can be repaired for less than $1,000, it's a misdemeanor. If it costs a lot more than $1,000, then we're at the felony level. It's up to the judge to decide what the sentence is after a jury looks at the case. My job is to look at the evidence and to bring it to a grand jury who agreed that this should be a felony based upon the evidence that they heard, and they returned a true bill that this person should be charged with this felony. One more.
Thank you for your time today. How do you square charging this alleged pool criminal when this is the same Justice Department that
already this is a problem?
Over 1,000 January 6th rioters who caused millions of dollars of damage.
Are you really talking about January 6th?
Yeah.
I'm not. Okay, who's next? Not you. No. Yes, you again. Go ahead.
Could you please explain the bench warrant warrant that was issued for his arrest? Is Mr. Hearn being arrested today?
Do we have a? Yeah, he's not being arrested. No. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Superior versus.
Did the grand jury unanimously return the true bill?
I don't take a check of unanimous versus non-unanimous, and as soon as they give me a right to do that, I'd be happy to do that, but I don't have that right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great 4th.
Like threat environment ahead of the 4th, is there anything you're tracking?
I'm not tracking anything in terms of a threat environment. I'm not tracking anything in terms of a threat environment. We're all hoping that Americans are able to celebrate, whether they're in D.C. or around the country. I mean, this is a wonderful, wonderful holiday. It's not just any 4th of July. This is a big one. And I hope you and your families, I hope you don't have to work, everybody, and I hope you can enjoy. Thank you.
On the teen takeovers, do you have any cases you're reviewing on parents? You had said you might.
Yeah, we've reviewed a few.
Think you might be able to bring.
We've reviewed several of them. I'll probably do a presser on that in the future. Thank you. All right, everybody. Happy 4th.
Thanks.
I'd be afraid to ask her some kind of question. I do want to address something. Somebody posted, I can't decide whether or not she's being fair. It has nothing to do with her. That's what this entire thing was about. The grand jury issued the indictment. As the attorney, she presented evidence to the grand jury. This is how, in case you don't realize how grand juries work, she put evidence, the grand jury looked at it and said, yes, go ahead and arrest this guy. We think you got enough here to put him, away. And then, if it's not being fair, she didn't make up the penalties. The penalties are, I think what it was, a bunch of a fine and then 10 years in jail. That's what the law says. So it's not about her being fair or unfair. That's specifically what the grand jury indicted this guy. By the way, this was, I believe, the rower from the Olympics. So this guy is now indicted on a felony that he's looking at 10 years. It's going to cost him a crap load of money, because now he's going to have to defend himself. He's probably going to have to open a GoFundMe and let one of these rich guys give him a whole bunch of money. But, man, she takes no crap. I cannot believe these reporters. Shut up. Just shut up. It's unbelievable. All right, so I'm going to jump, because I don't want to keep you guys here too long. I'm going to jump to I don't know if it was a press conference, more of a ceremony that Pete Hegseth had this morning. I don't know if you've seen this. It's remarkable for a couple different reasons. Pete Hegseth speaks, Stephen Miller speaks, Todd Blanche speaks, and the libtards scream and clank their fandanglers and blow horns and do everything possible like the commies they are. It is absolutely disgusting. It's insulting. So you're going to hear this noise. You're like, Barry, what the hell is that a bad recording? No. They're up there talking on a microphone, and across the way, they're making all kinds of noise to try and shut them up. Yes, the orcs have been released. All that noise you hear is where these guys are lined up across this little pond here or pool. They're all lined up. They knew it was coming, and they had an entire squadron of orcs just making all kinds of noise as these guys are, being honored and talked to by the Secretary of War. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And it gets worse because in a minute, he's got to turn on his microphone, which is going to amplify the idiots.
Good morning. How are we doing? everybody attention. At ease, rest. All right, shake it out a little bit. Hey, thank you for what you're doing for our nation. Incredible job. Secretary Hegseth, thank you so much for hosting this event. It's great to be here. As we celebrate 250 years of our independence, the National Guard has been there from the beginning. We joined George Washington as we won our independence back in 1776. We were there on the beaches as we came on Normandy and Omaha Beach on June 6, 1944. We were there for Midnight Hammer, Absolute Resolve, and Continue in Epic Fury. And our National Guard will be always ready, always there. Now here in Washington, D.C., as we brought on the task force, General Blanchard, being the JTF commander, we brought 2,500 guardsmen in from 15 states and the District of Columbia, and you all have done an amazing job. You all have saved over 235 lives. You all have done over 530 medical assistance to personnel. You have restored children back to their families 27 times. And you have done amazing things in support of law enforcement to make sure we reduce crime. As we celebrate 250 years on Saturday, most Americans will get up and they'll think about barbecues and family and friends. They'll think about where they're going to watch the fireworks. But our National Guard will have 40,000 globally engaged somewhere, and they'll wake up and they'll lace up their boots and they'll think about going into the ballistic missile defense site to make sure we're secure. They'll think about cyber and how we're making sure we're protecting our networks. And right here in D.C., they'll be lacing up to make sure that they can fly jets into the air, whether they're maintainers or crew chiefs or the pilots, to keep our skies safe, not only over Washington, D.C., but across our nation. And so as we go forward and we've bumped up another 2,500 to celebrate the 4th in our independence for 250 years, that's a quarter of a millennium. Think about that. And so we want to give a shout out to our governors and to our adjutants generals for helping to make sure that our guardsmen can be here and ready to go so we can celebrate across our nation. Now we have guardsmen also that are getting ready for maybe a tropical storm in Guam. We have guardsmen up on the side of a mountain right now clearing out fire lanes so that we can stop wildfires. And we have guardsmen that are supporting Venezuela as they've just had the 2 large earthquakes. And so our Guard's 435,000 strong. We're going to be always ready, always there, which is our motto. Happy birthday, America. And it's super excited to be here on the 4th of July. Thank you. And now I'll turn it over to our Honorable Blanche.
Thank you, everybody. My name's Todd Blanche. I'm the Acting Attorney General. So on behalf of the United States Department of Justice, I want to tell every one of you, men and women, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. It was just about 1 year ago today when President Trump said that he looked around this city, the capital of the greatest country in the history of civilization, and didn't like what he saw. He didn't like the crime, he didn't like the way it looked, and he instructed us to do something about it. And that's exactly what we've done. And we haven't done it because of me, we haven't done it because of anybody standing behind me, we've done it because of each and every one of you. And the goal, our goal was simple: create a city that's as beautiful and as amazing as the country that it represents. Whether it's a world leader coming to negotiate peace or trade with the President of the United States, or a 3rd grader or a 5th grader from Kansas.
Somebody asked on the screen, can the background noise be filtered out? No, it's in his mic. At that point, if you tried to filter that out, it would lower him so much because they are standing across the way looking directly at him, screaming. They've got microphones with sirens. They're doing everything they possibly can. They're saying effing Nazis, Nazis go home. They're doing everything to disrupt this. And you know, at any moment, not that he ever would, but if they gave the order, go take these people down, they would get completely wasted. But no, I can't take not could I. There's no way, otherwise it would have brought the volume down so much. It was in his microphone. See, that's where the difference is. They were screaming, and he's got a microphone. Once they turned the microphone, you could hear somebody was trying to adjust something, and they're like, no, there's nothing we can do. At this point, they are in the recording.
Coming to see the sights of this great city, they have every right and every expectation to do it in an environment that is safe and beautiful. And so when you hear President Trump, when you hear me, when you hear leadership talk about the success that we have seen over the past year in this city, we are literally being carried on your backs when we take that credit. We know that it is you guys every day, whether you have not a single encounter on your shift or whether you spend that day interacting with people in this city all day, you're putting your lives at risk, and you're doing so because of this great country. So I hope that every one of you know that when we thank President Trump for what he did for this city, we're also thanking every one of you. So I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you very much for standing out here in this heat. And God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm Stephen Miller. I'm the Homeland Security Advisor for the President of the United States. I want to begin by thanking General Norhouse, General Blanchard, Attorney General Todd Blanche, my very good friend, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, and Carl McDonald, Rick Furia, and Tony Salisbury, the Deputy HSA. Each and every one of you has been part of the single most successful public safety initiative in the history of this country. In 12 months, the crime rates in D.C. have gone from among the highest in the world to the lowest recorded in the history of our nation's capital. It is the largest, fastest, steepest reduction in violent crime that has been achieved in any city, anywhere in this country, since the recording of crime data has existed. Just think about that for a second. Work that would normally take 20 or 30 years, if ever, was done in less than 1 year's time. But it's not just the reduction in crime.
I know this is hard to listen to, but I guess if you can focus in on his voice and try to block out the idiots, listening to what he and what Pete Hegseth are going to say, it's well worth it. But the one thing, like I told you when I introed this clip, I'm like, it's disgusting. It's insulting. It makes me want to fly to Washington and just take a flamethrower to the other side of this pool. But this is where they are. This is who these people are at this point.
The beautification of the city, the improvement to the quality of life, the cleanliness of the city, the order of the city, the feeling of security and physical comfort, the psychological ability of people from every part of this country, every part of the world, to come visit our nation's capital and to see you as they tour this nation's historic sites, and to feel safe, to feel secure, to feel that their children are safe. You cannot put a price tag on that. I've heard story after story where parents say to their kids when they're waiting to get picked up, just go find where the National Guard is and stand there and wait until I can come pick you up. You cannot put a dollar value on what you were provided to not only the people who live in this city, but the people who visit this city. This is the nation's capital, the capital of the United States, on the 250th anniversary of our birth. And you've not only done everything I've said, but also the national security of this city. The ability to guard it against cyber threats, terrorism, and every form of national security threat. And to make sure, as we begin this celebration, that we can do so in complete physical safety. All of civilization can be fundamentally divided into two groups of people: builders and destroyers. Between the people who do the work to build, sustain, and nurture civilization, the people who serve, who sacrifice, who give, who care for others, who protect others, who defend others, and those who only destroy, who litter, who rob, who graffiti, who deface, who degrade. Civilization only exists because of people like you. People who choose to serve, who choose to sacrifice, who choose to build, who choose to dedicate themselves to some cause greater than their own vanity. Each and every one of you is the reason why America's future is brighter than it's ever been before. So on behalf of President Trump, on behalf of the White House, on behalf of the U.S. government, and on behalf of the American people, thank you. You have our everlasting gratitude. God bless, and happy Independence Day.
Stephen, thank you very much. To everything you said, yes and amen. In general, thank you for your leadership. Attorney General, thank you for being here, for backing us up along the way. To the entire team, to the soldiers here, thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for waiting out here in the sun. I'm to blame. Sorry, I had a meeting go long. I never want to make a formation stand out any longer than it has to, because I've stood in your formation before, waiting for somebody to show up so I can get on and do my job. And that's the beautiful part about what you do. You do your job no matter what. In fact, this background noise this morning is perfect. It's the sound of ingrates, of ingratitude, of people who are so blinded by ideology they can't see law and order and common sense in front of them. That there's nothing ideological about this group. There's nothing political about this exercise. Law and order is something all Americans deserve. Black, white, rich, poor, man or woman from D.C. or far-flung places in this country. And the beautiful thing is when I look out at this group, that's all of you. From all across this great country. You're not from Washington, most of you, but this is your capital. And you believe in this 250th year that it should be safe and it should be secure for every single citizen that lives here and every single citizen that comes to visit in this 250th year. And you do it whether it's cold, whether it's raining, whether it's, well, it doesn't snow here very often, whether it's snowing or whether it's 100 degrees on the 4th of July. See, these ingrates will fade away. They'll go back to wherever they came from. You will do your job. And you will do it professionally, with courage, boldly, assisting with arrests, helping people who need help. The crime rate here has dropped in staggering amounts, and the media won't want to admit it because, of course, they'd have to give credit to President Trump, and then they'd have to give credit to the Department of War or to Stephen Miller. But courageous men like President Trump and Stephen, who said enough is enough, are the reason why this city is a safe and beautiful place 250 years into our great republic. And it's incredible Americans like you who ignore the noise and you do your job. And you do it with courage and you do it with professionalism and you do it because you love your country, which is why you raised your right hand in the first place. It's why you put this uniform on to begin with. It's because this town loves to talk about elites. And there's a lot of famous people in this town. But when I talk about elites, I'm talking about all of you, the real 1%, the real 1% of America who raised your right hand to serve something bigger than yourself when you could have done anything else. And then you do the difficult, tough job that no one else is willing to do. And you stand beside law enforcement here and you ensure that our capital is safe and secure. It's a righteous and beautiful mission. And what an honor it is to stand with you in the 250th year of our great republic, where it has always required men and women like you for 250 years to stand up and do the right thing when it's difficult. And that's precisely what you have done in this D.C. safe and beautiful mission. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Sarah Beckstrom and Andy Wolf. We lost Sarah, and Andy was almost killed and has had a near miraculous recovery. Just want to give a moment of silence as we remember Sarah and Andrew this.
Okay, I want to come in. He's talking about the National Guardsmen that were ambushed, the woman that was killed, and the other guy who was shot in the head. And he asked for a moment of silence. And those people can hear him in the microphone. I like to have a moment of silence for this woman who gave her life. Watch how these people react.
This morning. Thank you, and amen. They died so that others may live. And as the Bible says, there's no higher calling. You are willing to put your life on the line for other people. It's a testament to who you are. Thank you for keeping this city safe. You make our country proud at 250 years, and future generations will stand on your shoulders to ensure America's capital and this great republic endures for another 250. It's an honor to serve you, and please know every single day we have your back in everything that you do. God bless you. God bless our capital, and God bless America at 250 years. Thank you very much.
What you just saw, I wish there was a cut showing the people, because we just saw the devil. We just saw evil. We saw evil personified. I saw this comment come up, and I wanted to make sure I did not miss it. Florida MAGA man says, civil war is imminent. Prepare yourselves. It's the only way. I don't even think it's imminent. I think it's underway. I think it's most assuredly begun with how these people are treating people. And if they had the opportunity, they probably would have thrown things, not realizing that the very country you're protesting is the only country that allows you to be the idiots that you are. I'm pretty sure there were people in Russia and China and Cuba who felt like they wanted to let the government know that they didn't like what was happening. Unfortunately, they're dead. And I don't think these young socialists and commies understand the very flag that you hate is the flag that allows you to be complete morons. And that they are actually fighting to suppress people from being able to give their disappointment and statement on the government. You know it's coming. If they were to get power, we've already seen it. We couldn't speak on Twitter. They booted us. They shut us up. Facebook shut us up, shunned us, pushed us into a corner. You don't think they'd do that again in a heartbeat? Just make us all persona non grata? You know what's happening over in England right now in some of these countries. They come into your house and arrest you because you post something on social media. You're allowed to be an idiot. You're allowed to just make your clang-dangers and fang-glanglers and make all kinds of noise because of the place you hate. That's got to be peak insanity. Just like, wait a second. So you want to go to a different style where you're not allowed to question your government. You're a special kind of stupid. You're an absolute special kind of stupid. And so I know right now, as we're going into, I guess tomorrow's a big rally. There's two more rallies coming up, but we have a rally tomorrow and then a rally on the 4th at 9:30. But that, I thought that clip showed us what we're up against. How they completely hate America, hate you, hate what you stand for. Don't even want you to be able to speak to people who want to hear you. It's amazing. And so if anybody sees that and feels like, at this point, oh, things are going to be okay, we're a long way away from okay. Long way away. It's crazy what these people are doing. Absolutely crazy. Hey, man, you believe that? Did you see that earlier?
No, I didn't. That was the first time, and I'm fuming, man. I tell you what, you can't fix TDS stupid. I'm telling you, the Citizen Vigilante movie. That's how I'm feeling right now. I mean, they're demons.
Yeah.
I mean, two people sacrifice their life. Can we have a moment of silence?
No.
The bandanglers, man. It was like Whoville.
You know, it's really weird. They must have told all Trump supporters, don't come. Because that would have, the way I'm feeling right now, the way you're feeling right now, I'd have had to smack somebody upside their head. I mean, it would have turned into a big old roll around in the dirt type thing. So they must have said, don't come in. Just let them do what they need to do. It's just, let's just show how bad these people are. Don't even engage, because can you imagine if there was a bunch of Trump supporters, that would have turned into a complete.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it would look like one of the crash out videos you see on a daily basis.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'll tell you what. I hope they have the security. I mean, I'm sure they do. I'm sure Cash and the FBI and all the other folks are working on it. But for the July 4th activities, I hope they really have everything scoped out, because I'm sure some idiots are going to try something stupid.
Oh yeah.
To put a damper on it, to ruin the fun. So yeah, that's
great.
I'm telling you, I'm ready to go, man.
I was looking at some of the comments, even from people I know who have been somewhat,
I know, right?
And they're like,
Calm
"Oh no,
one.
that's it. I'm done.
I'm done."
They
Lock
tried to
and
do
load.
a moment of silence, and you would respect the dead. I mean, how bad is that? I understand. I hate Pete. I hate Stephen Miller. I hate all these people. But he's like, can we take a moment of silence for the dead people?
That's disgusting. Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
That
Absolutely horrible.
that tells everybody right there. They hate you. They hate America, and the media hates America because they won't show it. I bet you won't see that on television anywhere.
I wonder how they're all going to feel if the bad thing does happen and the commies get real control and they start breaking into Pelosi's house and going, "Hey, we want your money." I'm telling you, when it's they could all live behind their fences and have their armed guards, but eventually it's going to come into their yards. I mean, it's going to happen to everybody. So
yeah, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. Because some of these Somalian idiots won't care that it's Caitlin Collins from CNN. To them, they don't want CNN. It's a white woman in a expensive house, and that's it.
Her face would scare me away. I'd be like, make a cross. Get away. No. Evil.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
RBF.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, I'm gonna end on there. I'm not. The other story I sent you. You said you're going to do tomorrow, but I think.
I just wanted to show that to everybody, not to go away mad, but to go away pumped up and realize how close we are to 1776. It's not another country, but it's people here who are willing to take our freedom. And the same thing with taxation and everything else. They want us gone.
How are we going to define what's north and south on the Civil War? It's going to be all over the place. It's going to be nuts. I think the blue states, which aren't many, they're all going to be like walled off. I mean, there's more of us than them, so I'm ready. Yeah. Put me in, Coach.
I don't. The whole thing. I'm looking at Fox right now, and they've got that one blonde woman who always talks crap about America, and I'm like, is it worth it? Is it worth the clicks? Is it worth the clicks and likes and everything? Just you're feeding insanity. I mean, I would hope that people don't profit off insanity. There's something wrong with that. And these people are so far gone. And like the whole stuff that Tucker's saying and Candace is saying, they're saying it knowing it's not true. They don't care, and they're willing to profit off of it.
Well, I mean, that's the whole irony about it. I mean, it's capitalism. They're making money, but I don't know. Yeah,
how do you turn off and go, all right, honey, let's go. Hey, you just go take a shower. You stink, man. That was bad. That was bad today. I can't. Every time I go home, Robin's like, okay, so you should have said this. That was okay. You should have said that. I couldn't imagine if I got on here for 2 hours and talked about Charlie Kirk's dead, his widow, and made up stuff about her. I mean, I don't know how I feel so icky, just crazy.
Very creepy. Well, anyway, I hope you all have a great evening, and we'll try this again tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, do you have a schedule for tomorrow? What's the deal? Tomorrow is the real cool one. Tomorrow is the Mount Rushmore speech, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's. Or is that the Thursday one? One of them is Mount Rushmore.
Well, hold on a second. I think that's Friday, right? I think that was the. I'm grokking right now. Excuse me. Let's see what comes up.
I think Mount Rushmore is tomorrow.
It says.
Yeah,
I have it. President Trump's schedule for tomorrow, July 3rd, Friday, centers on a major America 250 Independence Day Eve event at Mount Rushmore in South Dakota.
Yeah.
He scheduled a headline the Rushmore fireworks celebration for America's 250th. He will deliver keynote remarks amid patriotic programming,
Yeah.
military honors, and a major fireworks display, first in years at the site. And then it
cool.
shows the time. So fireworks at 9:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So what is that for us? That's 2 hours. So
2 or 1?
is that 2 or 1?
I don't know. I have to look. But in any event, I'm just imagining spotlights on Mount Rushmore, as he's talking. That would look
Gonna be
phenomenal.
awesome. More patriotism. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when are you planning to go live tomorrow, Barry? For
I gotta
folks that are asking?
check the times, but I'll
Okay.
check the times and make it accordingly. It'll be a long show because if they got entertainment and stuff, we'll play it, and if YouTube gets mad, they get mad.
Go to Rumble.
We'll go with it.
We could always switch. We'll make sure we could go to Rumble. Yes.
Yeah. All righty.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Thank you very much. All right. Let me look at super chats real quick here, and then we can all adjourn for the evening. Good. Okay. Cheers up. Europe regulates and doesn't allow air conditioning because climate change might kill someone, but the heat waves are. What a point. What a point. I saw somebody post that earlier. Hey, whether or not you like Mandama, you have to understand climate change. So keep your stuff at 78. Meanwhile, grandma, she dies from heat exhaustion. That's just too bad, I guess. Crazy. Heat and no power in New York City is a recipe for, oh, wow. Can you imagine that? Wow. The power, okay, let me just stop for a second. The power is not going to go out in New York City. How do I know that? Because there's no way they're letting Tay-Tay have her wedding in Madison Square Garden and the power going out. Not going to happen. Unless they're bringing in tons of generators from Madison Square Garden, they are not going to let it ruin Tay-Tay's wedding. Not going to happen. And so everybody turn up your air conditioning, do what you want. There's no way they're going to have a blackout while Taylor Swift's wedding's in Manhattan. Cheers up, Monsani and his peeps will be cool, I'm sure, in Gracie Mansion. Jim lives in a pod with a manual fan. He's an expert. That must have been somebody in the chat. Linnell, we keep 4 portable AC units as part of our storm prep. Yeah, you must live in Florida or Texas or someplace. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Pekovsky, thank you. Late again. No, you're never late. You're on time. Off to unload the van. Don MAGA, not all prisoners have AC. I worked in a prison down in Palestine, Texas, that was either hot as hell in the summer or cold as ice in the winter. Ooh, what did they do to have a prison with no AC? Catherine, I recently watched Chef Chad O. Jackson's doc called the MLK Project. It's incredibly eye-opening. His movement was a front for communist takeover. Very important history lesson to understand where we are today. Very well. Nicholas Lamonicus, these commies are all rich and they want our rights and prosperity. Meanwhile, they will have everything. Hasn't worked in Cuba. Just talk to Cubans, talk to anybody. It's never worked. Not just what, never worked. And so when you ask them that question, well, it just hasn't done right. Well, it hasn't been done the way they want to because it hasn't been done in a country this big with so much money to steal. Lake Abigail, Barry, please interview Katie Hopkins and or Tommy Robinson. Okay, let me tell you about Tommy Robinson. Kate Hopkins, maybe. Tommy Robinson, as soon as you would, Ashley had him booked, and as soon as you turn on, they would like turn it off. So I'd have to do that on Rumble. Cutting edge. What I love is that the DSA leader admitted that his goal is communism, and that is enough evidence to dismantle anyone associated with or related to the group through the Communist Control Act. Let me give you a star on that one. You're absolutely right. They know this. They know they can't embrace the communist label because that would give President Trump the ability to do it. So they're going to be subversive. Renegade, Granny, my car is paid off. My house where I currently live is paid off. And I just paid cash for a house where I want to live, just waiting to retire. Fantastic. Unbelievable. Good job. Jerome Lambert, younger Democrats didn't live during World War I or II. Mao death camps, Stalin's gulags, massacre of Ukraine. They don't know any history. They weren't even here during 9/11. Just want to be against anything, be rebels. Cheers up. Oligarchs who got deported be given mail-in ballots. I hope not. Jerome, Europe equals sheep who follow anyone or anything against United States rockets, medication, #1 military war. Now, if you're communist, would you rather have? I know what I'd rather have. It came in twice. What's this? Mr. Roberts, God bless you for your videos. I hope President Trump could follow up on a removal of the illegal babies. Yeah, me too. Subster, it's because of Tay-Tay they need people to power. I didn't think about that. Oh, she's going to bring all these people in. They need to power down so Tay-Tay can have the good wedding. You're absolutely right, probably. Chiosop, Hassan Piker and Code Pink had electricity and AC in Cuba, but the rest of the island was pitch black. Only the well-connected and donors got some. I remember that. If you guys remember that, they went down to Cuba and they were in a nice hotel that had AC and air conditioning. I mean, and power. John Villy, communism, #1 threat, Insurrection Act. Yep. He said it. #1 threat, he said. G. Fisher, of course, Trump is building many new beautiful prisons for this insane fringe, dangerous trash. It's so bad. It's so bad. Linnell, Stephen and Todd standing behind Pete like hitmen. They look like people that are plotting. No one can stop what is coming. Hold the line, Patriots. Yes, they did. You could just feel it. Like any moment, the soldiers would just run across the pond, ready to do damage, whatever they needed to do. All right, everybody. So we got 2 rallies coming up, one tomorrow and one the day after, Friday and Saturday, to finish the 4th of July weekend. So I shall see you. I won't know tomorrow until what time they post it, but it should be fun.
Bye.